break it to me hard. If you're over my love, girl, lay it on my heart. Don't try to save me. Is someone else calling you, baby? You wanted time and you wanted your that ready for moving along. Now I ain't leaving till I hear you say what's going on. It'll be what it will be. It's either him or me. Give me the word and girl, I'm gone. Baby, is someone else calling you, baby? It's driving me crazy, this being in the dark. Goodbye ain't ever easy, so break it to me hard. If you're over my love, girl, lay it on my heart. Don't try to save me. Is someone else calling you, baby? So break it to me hard. If you're over my love, girl, lay it on my heart. Don't try to save me. Someone else calling you, baby. No, don't try to save me. Someone else calling you, baby. Someone else calling you, baby.
Blown down the highway by two different winds.
We're live.
Lord only knows when I'll see you again.
That's how
You're about as
that
close
41-year-old
as the stars up above. You're my long distance love.
Third grade. Do it all over.
Kentucky bluebird, I heard your song today, but when I try to touch you, you fly away.
God, that boy was unhinged today.
Blue is a feeling I'm learning so well. Turn on the TV in another hotel.
Inch.
Turn down the volume and stare
Been a long
at the
4 years
wall.
of him crying.
God, I wish you would call.
Or someone's easy to read in the chat.
Kentucky bluebird, I heard your song today, but when I try to touch you, you fly away. How I hate the miles between us, they get longer each day. I had this dream, and you should have seen us holding each other and drifting away. Kentucky bluebird, lucky bluebird.
It already matters.
I heard your song
There's
today.
3 managers. Like 3 managers with that. 3 managers.
But when I
One guy
try to
transferred
touch you, you fly away.
The other guy I heard was like Walmart or Walgreens or some shit.
Fly
And
away.
there's 3 new managers in there today. Met the guy who does my schedule now. I better have 40 next week. I swear to God, I'm gonna complain. Sick of it. Sick of it. So I only had like 30 hours this week. There's too much work. 30 hours. It's fucking retarded. God, I love being great because I can go run my mouth and back it up. I love it. I can go in there and say, "What the fuck kind of retard shit is schedules is?"
I'm no stranger to the rain. I'm a friend of thunder. Friend, is it any wonder lightning strikes me? I fought with the devil, got down on his level, but I never gave in, so he gave up on me.
It's a hinge today.
I'm no stranger
It's a strange guy.
to the rain. I can spot bad weather, and I'm good at finding shelter in a downpour. I've been sacrificed by brothers, crucified by lovers, but through it all I withstood the pain.
Damn!
Stranger to the rain, but when I get that foggy feeling, what I'm a
Relax.
feeling now, if I don't keep my head, I may drown. But it's hard to keep believing I'll even come out even while the rain beats a hole in the ground. And tonight it's really coming down. I'm no stranger to the rain, but there'll always be tomorrow, and I'll beg, steal, or borrow a little sunshine. And I'll put this cloud behind me. That's how the man designed me, to ride the wind and dance in the hurricane. I'm no stranger to the rain. Oh, I'm no stranger to the rain. I'm no stranger to the rain. I'm a friend of thunder. Friend, is it any wonder lightning strikes me? But I'll put this cloud behind me. That's how the man designed me, to ride the wind and dance in the hurricane. I'm no stranger to the rain. Oh, I'm no stranger to the rain.
These stupid motherfucking dogs get in my fucking blinds. You're fucking the bottom of my blinds up. You are dumb. You do not. We'll stay in that room tomorrow. You will pay the price of a cage. You'll be in that cage, wondering what the fuck happened. where you'll be.
And even now in my
God, I gotta go outside. Fuck. It's so weird. Now that I'm in here, the heat's going up, the temperature. I don't even understand. It was 64 when I left. It was 63 when I got home. And now it's going up. It's like 65. Explain it. Make it make any sense. Make it make any fucking sense. Go back to that. What the fuck was that? Go back. What kind of pedophile shit is this? Down in the valley. Listen to the description of this. First of all, that man looks he don't look like a teenager, but listen to the description. Teenager Toby meets Harlan, a charismatic cowboy, and they start a relationship. But her lawman father grows suspicious of her new lover. Why does a teenager have a lover? What kind of shit is this? What kind of movie is this? Shit off. Advertising pedo movies and shit. A teenager with a lover? What? This society is doomed. This society is sick. It's a sick society full of sick shit. Men dating fucking teenagers. Sick. Then maybe she's 18 and he's like 30 or something. So it's technically legal, but it's still, I don't know. A bit much. A bit much. You're towing the line. You're riding the line, you see? You're right on that line. I don't think that's where you want to be. Putting on all these hoodies. 3 hoodies. Cold. Too fucking cold out there. Hey Siri, give me the temperature. Hey Siri. See right there. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. What the fuck? Hey Siri. What the fuck? Hey Siri. What's the temperature? Fucking useless. 36. Useless ass fucking robot. Ready to go outside? You know how cold it is out there though. You ain't gonna be out there long. I gotta get the dogs a jacket. Dog jacket. What's the cheapest place to buy a dog jacket? I seen some up at the pet store last time I was there. We'll get them one. Skull? Eagle slippers on the balls too. That ground cold. Yeah, you gotta go out and pee though. Is what it is. You gotta go. You got to go out there. You're not gonna like it. You're gonna hate out holding each other. Gonna say, my God, no, no, no. Here, Marshall. Marshall, come around, you goofus. Come around. Miracle. Stop. Stop this instant. Jump on me. Jump on me. Ah! Fucking quit. Quit or I'm up swinging. You ain't gonna like it. Get out my way. Start swinging on you. Your ass a shadow room. Arto move. Quit. Ah, man. Will you fucking quit? Come here. Spherical. Stop. Man. Can't wait till you get out here. You're so fucking excited. You're gonna really be excited in a minute. You're gonna really. Oh yeah, yeah. It's so fun. Hey, damn. So eager to be out there now. Huh. Not so fun now. That's what I bought yesterday. The cinnamon butter at Texas Roadhouse. I have it in my fridge with the Hawaiian rolls. You know, you can buy it at the store, the cinnamon butter. I have some. It's so fucking good. I gotta sit it on the counter though, let it warm up a little bit. It's hard to use when it's cold. How do they warm it up? I'm gonna look that up. What do you need? What kind of device do you need? For that. Butter with honey and cinnamon. And then the delicious Hawaiian roll. Roll. Look at that roll. That roll. Did Parr take my base head and call me back? He's trying to mind fucking. I think he went to bed. He got to get up early and have a meltdown. So. Not even close to fat. But I was wearing two hoodies and it made me look fat. Look how fat you look when you wear all these layers. Fat. Going outside. Oh my God, it's so good. I didn't hear about that. What? You already want to go in, Marshall? You had enough. Take you in. Go on. I can take you in. Go in? You want to go in? Fuck you do. Fuck yeah, you do. You don't want to be out here, huh? Hold on, I gotta take my laptop. I ain't leaving it out here. It might be aight for a second, but you never know. Somebody could run out of the darkness. A black man. Them motherfuckers hate it. They hate it out there. Come on, you're going in here while I'm outside. Come on. I don't trust you not to piss in my floor. No, you just went out. Come on. March off. Come on. In. In. When I come back in, you come out. Right now? Hell no. I don't know if you feed or not. I don't trust it. Stay in there. Now I can see if he can get out of there or not. Because he'll do it while I'm outside. He waits for me to leave and he sneaks his way out. Heck the fuck is weather? Make sure it ain't about to start raining. Oh, I guess it ain't gonna rain, is it? Some snow. But it's too fucking cold for this shit. 4-3. Probably right. Should have wore two pairs of pants. My God. I'm buying a fucking new beanie tomorrow. I'm tired and I haven't worn. It's fucking cold. Taking a laptop out in the cold. What's wrong with the laptop being in the cold? Shouldn't bother it, right? In fact, it should help, right? Laptops get hot and stuff. I would think being out here, be less hot. Snow it. I wouldn't have it out here if it was raining, so I don't feel nothing. Maybe a light little bit of snow falling. I don't think it's nothing crazy. Feel any water upon thingamajig. See the other way. And it'll be under this roof. I'll face the brick wall. I look like that meme. I'm like talking to a wall. That's what it looks like. So fucking cold. Oh, fuck. Holy fuck. Well, what I missed today? It's all falling apart. That's crazy. Watching it every day. It's all falling apart. All their little narratives are busted up. The immigration stuff spiraled out of control. It's a mess to the point where the country, in just 4 years' time, the country wants mass deportation. Didn't want it 4 years ago. It was racist. Oh, it's horrible. But in 4 years' time, if you actually look at the statistics of the Biden administration, you'll see why it's been an absolute failure. You know, it took us 200 plus years to reach $12 trillion in debt. Before Joe Biden took office, the national debt was $12 trillion. And it took over 200 years to reach that level, right? You know, Biden doubled that number in 4 years. Look it up. Look that shit up. Joe Biden doubled our national debt to $24 trillion in 4 years. Now, if you don't think that's a problem, if you don't think that month they were doing some shady shit, man, they robbed us blind. That's what y'all don't realize. They've been money laundering like a motherfucker. That's why if Trump starts doing investigations, starts trying to lock some of these people up, good, I say, because I know they've been stealing. I know they've been robbing the taxpayer blind for decades, and it's time some of them face some justice for it. And they keep telling me Trump's the one robbing me blind. Well, Trump's only been in power for 4 years, so I don't think Trump's ever stole a dollar from me. Quite frankly, I don't know what you guys are talking about. What the fuck are you talking about? I've never stayed at a Trump hotel. I've never done any, never bought anything from Donald Trump. My hands are so fucking cold. It's crazy. Fucking crazy. And I work in a cooler all day with no gloves. I don't ever wear gloves. My hands never get cold in there. Dude, I don't know what's going on in that store. The fucking one guy I found out today that the one dude's been out sick, the black dude, because I ain't seen him in forever. And apparently he's been out sick for like a week. What he's got. They had 3 managers quit. And I'm pretty sure the Frozen lead quit. I don't see him. Haven't seen him. Like, when does he work? Does he work overnight? Like, what? I don't know what's going on, bro. Maybe he's got them. Because if you wanted to, you could come in at like 4 o'clock in the morning. People stock all night. Stockers there all night. You could come in real early and get the fuck out of there, I guess. But I come in at like 9 sometimes. The motherfucker's not there. I mean, where are all these people? I don't even blame that Frozen guy for quitting. That Frozen shit's insane in there. It's insane. I'm gonna ask about it tomorrow. I'm gonna ask where that guy went. If that guy quit, I want his position. I want to be the lead of Frozen, really. I'm not afraid of it at all. And I will empty that cooler out. I'll empty that freezer out. God damn it, Wind. Sound like a siren. Because that's probably like $19 an hour. I'm not afraid of the Frozen. Ain't afraid of it. I've done it before. And I did it for $9 an hour. So if it's like $19 a night to 18, 19 an hour. Nah, that store shut sales in there quick. Yeah, but if you're the lead of the department, you're not gonna get cut. You're gonna get 40 hours a week. I want to lock my 40 in. It's getting like 30 hours one week. That's gay. Oh, they're gonna be crying for 4 years. So you gotta pace yourself because they're about to have a temper tantrum for 4 years. Fake outrage for 4 years. Actually, it's gonna be real outrage this time. Trump's gonna give them real shit to be mad about. They're really gonna be mad this time. You're gonna see real genuine anger. And honestly, it's what these people deserve for everything they've done. They've done a lot of bad shit. And I'm talking about the voters. I'm not talking about the politicians. I'm talking about the voters. They've done a lot of bad stuff. They elected Joe Biden. and really fucked up the economy and fucked the world up, and they've got a lot of people killed. And that's why when I say they have blood on their hands, they legitimately do have blood on their hands. They voted for Biden, and Biden led to all of this disaster and death and failure. So, yes, they are responsible for it, and the blood is on their hands, the millions dead from all these wars and all this madness and crazy illegals. I'm tired of hearing dumbass arguments like, well, American citizens murder people more. Who gives a fuck, bro? Who gives a fuck? What's that got to do with the fact you let people in the country, gang members, violent criminals, and you let them in the country and you let them kill our citizens, you fucking dork? It's got nothing to do with, I mean, these arguments are terrible. And these people are dead. Like they're so fucked in the head, I'm telling you. They think just getting a reaction, getting someone angry is like some type of victory or something. They're all children. They're all little kids, like Destiny and all these guys. They're little kids. They think because this is what's like our society is. We have a generation of people that are just retarded, and there's no hope for them. Like Par's in that generation, that 25-year-old, them young motherfuckers, they're retarded, and they're not going to ever change. I don't think they're just going to be retarded forever. It's not really their fault. It's just the world they grew up in, and the media brainwashed them, and the colleges, like these people that go to college, you got to understand that they're being taught a certain set of beliefs. It's almost like a church. It really is almost like a church, and they get indoctrinated and taught their religion. While they learn some other shit, useful shit for their job, but they learn all this other bullshit. And they spend all day around all these other people who it's really a cult. These college campuses have become a cult. And so they're lost. I mean, they don't believe they should have to work hard. They don't believe that they should have to do a job that they really don't want to do, but they got bills to pay. That's life. They think they should all be painters or who knows what Par really wants to be. But it ain't some guy in a cubicle. Nobody wants to work at a cubicle. I'd rather work anywhere but a cubicle. I work on a roof. And the cubicle, sitting on that laptop all day typing away. Ah, man, I'm good on that. I'm good on all that. It's funny as hell. They always show these videos of like, uh, it'll be like an illegal immigrant, and he'll be picking strawberries, or he'll be putting something in a box or some shit, right? He's doing it really fast. He's doing it real fast, right? And it's like Par's like, Americans won't do those jobs. I do a job just like it. What the fuck is he talking about? Like, he's retarded. These liberals are retarded. Tons of us do jobs like that. Those motherfuckers are taking our job. Like, that's my job. And they're driving the wages down to do those jobs because they'll come in and do them for way cheaper. Why would I want them here? Use your brain, retard. Why wouldn't I put myself before them? Like, don't you understand when they get rid of all those illegals and they can't get nobody to work, they're going to have to raise the wages to entice Americans to take those jobs? You're literally raising the wages of these jobs by getting rid of cheap. It's basically slave labor. They're exploiting these people. It's the closest thing to slavery we got in this country right now. And they defend it because you got to understand, these are the same people. They're Democrats. The Democrats, they defended slavery.
They started the KKK, all that shit. They had the KKK at their rallies and shit. At their like convention one time, there the KKK was there, part of the convention. It's interesting, like when you talk to enough of them, you realize the projection. They all have an extreme level of projection. They're always projecting onto everybody else. Parr does it constantly. He doesn't even realize he does it because he's so far into this. He's so retarded. He has no self-awareness, but he is literally projecting his misery onto everything. You have to understand, Parr has money. Daddy's got money. There's money. He's not, So when he sees broke people and they're happier than him, they seem happier than him, bothers him. Really bothers him. Because a guy like that, a liberal, but this is all liberals. This is just a democratic mindset. That's what they think matters, is how much money you have and your college degree and all that. That's what makes you a person. And all, and actual real stuff that matters, they don't care about that. They don't care. They're very strange. Like they'll forgive you if you murder some woman in cold blood. They'll cry for you, hold a protest. But go fuck yourself if you work at Arby's. Go fuck yourself. If you want a Democrat's respect, you gotta murder somebody. Ain't that sad? You gotta murder someone or uh, rob them. You gotta do some retarded shit. They really are like a giant. Like it's no surprise that gangs and gang violence flourishes under their leadership. They really are a gang themselves. And the neocons and all that, that's all part of that. That's what you don't understand. That's all part of the same thing. Call it Democrat, call it whatever you want, but it's all the same thing. That's why it didn't surprise me when Dick Cheney and all these people endorsed the Democrats and stood behind Kamala. Hey, at least George W. Bush had a little bit of integrity, didn't embarrass himself. That shows you George W. got a little bit more sense than he let on. Because he's just staying out of it. He's just like, not endorsing anybody. Why would he endorse Trump? Trump be shitting on his family all the time. I would look down on him even more if he endorsed Trump. I would see him as a punk. But instead, he's like, fuck the country, let it burn. I'm not gonna say vote Kamala though, because that makes me look retarded. But I'm not coming out trying to sway anybody to vote for any of these motherfuckers. They both suck. And I'm just gonna sit home. It's a respectable position. That's the thing, though. It's probably going to get so bad that George W. Bush he'll have to defend Trump. He'll have to stand up and say something because it'll get so absurd, so silly that you just at some point you got to understand the more ridiculous you get, the more some people have to just go, okay, that's enough. Like, wow, I can't get behind this. This is nuts. And the crazier you go, there's going to be less people following you. And the Democrats are reaching that point, and they're like, we got 3 million people that voted for us. Good for you. Good for you, but you lost to Trump. And what happened to the 10 million voters? And by the way, how many of those 70 million voters would you have if you didn't control the media and the television? And they're losing control of that because people are catching on. People are starting to realize the news. This is the problem with the situation they find themselves in now. Because if you say, where's the 10 million voters? Where'd they go? Where'd these Where'd all these voters go? There was 81 million. Trump had 74 million. Biden had 81 million. Where'd all these motherfucking millions of motherfucking voters go? They vanish off the face of the earth? Well, if they admit that these voters just stayed home, well, then they're admitting that the Democratic Party lost millions of voters. Because I promise you, Trump voters didn't stay home. It wasn't like there was no enthusiasm for Trump. He was more popular than ever. He got more votes than he's ever got before. Told you that was going to happen. You could feel the enthusiasm. You could see it. People around you. People were out in public wearing Trump merchandise. That nobody was afraid. Celebrities were coming out going, fuck it. Kamala sucks. And Kamala was so terrible. So there was an enthusiasm to beat, not only elect Trump, but to defeat her. Because she was a threat. She was a very incompetent woman. And that's a threat to your way of life. It's a threat to, I mean, look what Biden did. Now imagine her. Imagine her in there. No thanks. You know, and they sit there and say, well, the president has no power. Then why are they so scared of letting Trump be the president? If the president has no power, then why they fight so hard to keep Trump out of there to the point where they killed him? I think the president's got a lot more power than you understand. I think they want you to believe that it's hopeless and they control everything. But the reality is they don't have as much control as you think. I mean, just on the sheer scale of it, they can't fucking, what are they going to fucking, what are they supposed to do? Fight everybody in the country that has a gun to fight everybody? It's not going to happen. They got to mindfuck you into just going on. Well, they already won anyway, so just go sit home and just hush. Because then you won't go vote, you won't go do nothing, you just won't care, and that's how you stay defeated. That's how they stay doing what the fuck they want to do. But if it had no power, they wouldn't fight so hard to keep Trump out of there. They tried to kill some bitch 2 times to keep him the fuck out of there. So clearly, there's some powerful shit being a president. He can do some shit. It's like that Lawrence O'Donnell the other night was fucking, oh, there's not going to be a Department of Government Efficiency. It doesn't exist. Well, no shit. Trump ain't the president yet, retard. Do you understand how this works, Lawrence O'Donnell? Trump will be sworn in on the 20th. You understand how this works? Like, we know he's going to be the president unless some crazy shit goes down. But we don't know. Well, we know we got to wait till the 20th, Lawrence. I didn't expect Biden to make the Department of Government Efficiency, and well, it's got to be an act of Congress. No, Trump's just going to make it. Just going to make it. How is it even a bad thing? We're going to clean up wasteful spending. Who would be against it? Who's against cleaning up the wasteful spending that the government does? We got departments for everything else. Well, we can't have a department that looks at the other departments and makes sure they're even doing anything. Like, what is this shit we got over here? Like, maybe we don't need. There's like 400 plus departments or some crazy shit. Maybe we don't need. Maybe we definitely need a review. How about a review? And I don't think you get rid of that department long term. I mean, yeah, that's probably one of the most important. I don't even know why we don't have that already. How is there not a department in the government that checks the other departments and makes sure it's not that they're not doing retarded shit? It don't even make sense. Dude, our government is a joke. It's a fucking joke. Oh, enough about Epstein and Trump. If they had something with Epstein and Trump that was serious, a smoking gun, they'd have put it out by now. They don't got anything. They don't got nothing. Well, Trump flew on the plane. Well, so did all these celebrities, and so did Bill Clinton. So if we're going to say Trump, if we're going to say that flying on the plane automatically means you raped a child, then guess what? Everyone that flew on that plane raped a child. And that is a narrative they don't want. So they're not going that way. So I know that you all want to think that these Epstein things mean anything. They don't. People already know Trump knew Epstein. Trump has talked about it. But we don't, he didn't fly to that island. We know that. Didn't go to no island. As far as we know, hell, maybe he did. Which, don't you think if they had that, they'd put it out there? Don't you fucking. They're so desperate to connect Epstein to Trump. Don't you think if that existed, you wouldn't have seen it by now? All the CIA and all these intelligence people that hate Trump want to stop him. I mean, come on, y'all. You got to use your brain. You got to use your critical thinking here. This is where critical thinking skills come into play. Well, you got to walk down the path. All right, Trump knew Epstein. Did he? Did Trump? I mean, we've known this for 8 years now, maybe longer. We've known this. So we've had 8 years. Have we seen concrete evidence that he raped a child? No, we haven't. No, we haven't. I mean, Bill Gates flew. He knew. He knew that. That's what I'm saying. They don't want you to think that with that. They want you to think that just because you flew on the plane doesn't mean. You know what I mean? That's what they want you to think. So they're gonna. They can't. It's hard to push the Trump shit because you got to have some serious evidence on Trump, and nobody's gonna buy that they don't got it. What do you mean you don't got it? You're hiding everything else. You're hiding all this other shit. Ain't no way you would have hid it. I'm telling you, they had Trump doing any kind of thing with a kid. You'd have seen that shit by now. Or there'd be tons of anonymous sources talking about it. Oh, we seen it. We seen it. That's the thing. They can't really put it out there. Child pornography. Would be interesting to see like how they would even release something like that. How are they going to let people know that's even real? So they're not even going to show you. So you would just have to go on their word, and their word ain't very good. Their word is in the fucking trash. It's in the dirt. I don't think we'll get any. Uh, I just don't think Trump's that tied into Epstein. I think they want to make you think that, but where's the evidence? I ain't seen any. It's too cold to be out this motherfucker. I died. And see, you got out again. How the fuck you? Like what part of stay in there? What do you think that means? Part? Who damn cold? I mean, holy fuck, son. My God, that's insane. That's unholy. That is. It's a violent cold. That cold is violent. It attacks.
It's violently cold outside. It's something out of a winter nightmare. God, my fucking hands and it's cold. Dear God, my fucking ankle's cold as fuck because these pants won't cover the whole thing. Holy shit. My God. Woo! And think about people that freeze to death. They car breaks down in the middle of fucking nowhere. They freeze to death. Man, that's got to be a horrible way to go. Woo! Fuck that. Fuck all that. Nah, they didn't shit on the floor or nothing. It's just cold as fuck. Apparently, it's only 36 fucking degrees. That's what I'm saying. It's this winter is gonna be cold. Like it feels colder than ever. Like it's 36. That's a cold 36. That's a 36 that feels like fucking 30. Like, damn. Yeah, he started jumping over that fucking gate. He can't jump over that black thing, but he's fucking like on either side there's like a little he's able to get out. He's out of control. It's all right though. I got a plan. Got another plan. We'll figure it out. Solve it. It will be solved. No, there was a dog bigger than him on the cover of the box. You back up. You're light. Go lay down. Some people say we haven't been rated yet. It's the longest base in a while. Usually rated in a day. What's the latest on World War III? We need some answers. Can we get some answers? What's going on with this shit? What? Whatever. Never. Never, never, never. All right, now give me the latest on World War III. I know where to go get it. One man you go to about World War
They
III.
don't own the AlexJonesStore.com. Let's say it again. They don't own the
One place to
AlexJonesStore.com. They
go.
don't own the AlexJonesStore.com. They don't own the AlexJonesStore.com. They don't own.
While other networks lie to you about what's happening now, InfoWars tells you the truth about what's happening next. Visit Infowars.com.
Yeah, you can play a song. Go ahead.
And support the InfoWars.
It's Thursday, November 21st, 2024. We have massive World War III news we're about to exclusively break. Tell everyone you know, tune in now.
InfoWars, the most banned network in the world.
We are 59 days, 23 hours, 59 minutes, 3 seconds to the inauguration of the 47th President, Donald John Trump. I'm your host. It is Thursday, November 21st, 2024. Alex Jones here. All right, I'm going to break two major, exclusive, massive stories right now that are world-changing important. As you know, I have a lot of contacts in the Defense Department and in U.S. intelligence agencies. Some you see on air, some you don't. And I have a lot of sources at Mar-a-Lago. I'll leave it at that. And I can tell you that Roger Stone is on his way there right now to triple confirm the information I'm about to tell you. President Trump and Elon Musk have been quiet since 3 days ago. The United States, under the evil bastard's orders, the puppet Biden began bombing Russian military targets deep inside Russia with ATACMS Army missiles that can be retrofitted or not even retrofitted. Their main mission is nuclear sneak attack, but they use conventional weapons. The Russians have said, hey, years ago, you move those up the border, you ever fire those in conventional, we don't know there's not nukes on them. We may have to respond with a nuclear attack, especially if we see a whole bunch of them coming in. That would be the sneak attack. We've got to have total release of our weapons. We don't want to do it, but they've shown the simulations of the world being destroyed. And U.S. TV's shown that too, but when Russia shows it, national news here, and General Flynn's coming on next hour to talk about it, says, oh my God, Russia's preparing to nuke us. Look, they're doing simulations of hitting us. Well, I've seen hundreds of nuclear simulations of nuclear war in my lifetime, probably 1,000 actually. I've seen hundreds in the last couple of years. We play them all the time. The Chinese have aired them. The Israelis have aired them. The Europeans have aired them. The U.S. has aired them. Canada has aired them. I mean, we've probably aired 10 of them from Western media in the last week. Well, Russia aired one last night, and the headlines are, Russia, look, is preparing to launch nukes. No, they're showing what nuclear war will look like. That's called a major deterrent. But what's the big news? Elon Musk and Trump and Elon Musk are behind the scenes, and this has come out a week ago, that once he was president-elect, week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks ago now, I guess it is 2 weeks, the first thing Trump did was call Zelensky with Elon, who knows him as well, and said, look, buddy, we can build your country back. Things can be great. This needs to stop. I know there were old bosses there at NATO telling you to do this, and that's on record. Zelensky 2.5 years ago wanted the peace deal with Russia just to not join NATO. This would all stop. And that was Putin's red line, and he didn't bluff. And Zelensky said, yeah, let's do it. And then
Yeah, he bluffed.
Boris Johnson out of
That's
the
what
UK
Barr
and
says.
Biden out of the U.S. got on the
The
phone.
big
This all
bluff.
came out in the news. They didn't deny it and said, nope, the war continues. You'll fight to the last Ukrainian. Low estimates are 600,000+ dead. High estimates over 1 million. So this is escalated out of control. And then on Tuesday, the ATACMS started dropping. Yesterday, the Storm Shadows start dropping UK weapons. Germany's refused to fire their similar weapons. The Chinese are reportedly running around cutting undersea cables in the Baltic Sea. It's all out of control. And we're saying, where's Trump? Well, I'll tell you the more when we come back. He's behind the scenes trying to get a major announcement on peace. Stay with us. We'll break it all down. It is Thursday, November 21st, 2024. I am your embattled host coming to you from deep in the heart of Texas, Austin, broadcasting worldwide. Thank you for joining us here on the Alex Jones Show. We are 59 days out from President Trump being inaugurated the 47th president of the United States of America. And the globalist military-industrial complex is hell-bent on launching a new world war that inexorably leads to thermonuclear annihilation, fiery Armageddon, and on Tuesday, I aired many times a video of Trump a year ago saying we need a peace deal in Ukraine, that once he was president, he would stop the war, that it was leading to nuclear war. And I explained, this is old. We expect to see Trump come out and say something new, but everybody wanted to hear from Trump, so just our post, 3 posts of it, last time I checked, they all had over 40 million views. So that shows people are interested. That's 120 million views. That is, when we went and looked at the date, that's from last year. Now, you've not heard anything from Trump, and yesterday I said, this is a big problem. It'd been 2 days since the United States, under orders of Biden, which he announced on Sunday, which started on Tuesday, really still Monday here, but Tuesday in Russia, 3:30 in the morning, started raining ATACMS U.S. Army missiles down inside Russia, blowing up Russian missile bases. Russia didn't really say anything. They were waiting to see if more came, and then the UK, as you know, yesterday began launching. Now the numbers are over 20 Storm Shadow missiles that are similar to the ATACMS into Russia. Now, I began to make phone calls yesterday afternoon, and this morning, talking to multiple sources, they said, yeah, Alex, you already know the answer to this. What do you think Trump's doing? He's always about peace. He loves peace deals. He likes, having civilization and not having his grandkids die. And what was Trump and Musk doing a week and a half ago, right after the election, 2 weeks ago? They were calling Zelensky, saying, stop, have a ceasefire. Don't escalate this. We'll rebuild your country. And reportedly talks with Putin. Well, obviously, Alex, that's ongoing. So I'm like, well, is that what's happening? Yeah. And then I made some more calls and was told that is what they have been told, very close to the president. And Roger Stone is on his way to Mar-a-Lago right now to talk to the president. And if it's not off record or if he can tell us anything, he will. I'm certain people will get the off-record information. I'm not sure who that might be. Maybe someone close to me, like me. But that is going on. So rest assured, President Trump is working on a ceasefire to begin with, and then talks and commitments for both sides to stand down until Trump gets in 59 days. And there'll be a major peace summit. The problem is, and I know you don't need me to tell you this, but for new listeners and leftists that think that there are no X and Y chromosomes and things like that, two men can have a baby, and that inflation's good, and open borders are good, and that Biden's sharp as a tack, the military-industrial complex, the big banking interests, and they've been leaked UN documents, you name it, they want a global war. It'll hurt the rest of the economy. It'll kill a bunch of people. It runs a serious danger of nuclear war and ending civilization and life on the surface of the planet as we know it. But they only think about their own interest. And you notice now they're saying, oh, the stock market's starting to weaken. The Trump euphoria is wearing off. No, it's not the Trump stock euphoria wearing off. It is global war and the potential that Trump will be handed a out-of-control major kinetic conventional war, that all of the different war games, if it continues on, lead to nuclear war. And in almost every war game, we're talking 99%, you get any nuclear war, you get full nuclear war. And the war games, 60+% of the time, supercomputers, Russia, China, the US, private corporations, and I've got my own supercomputer, it's called my brain, it concurs, show that a war would start in Ukraine. That's been going on for a decade. The other one says it will start between India and Pakistan, next North Korea. So those are your hot spots, Ukraine and Eastern Europe and the Baltic states, India and Pakistan, and or India and China going to war. And then you've got North Korea and South Korea and China. And then you can also have Israel if they get hit by a nuke by Iran. And you know Iran has nuclear weapons, by the way. Been telling you that for 20 years. Saudi Arabia's got them too. That's the fourth area that could kick off. So this is where we are.
Where we are, Par. Moments away from you going to war.
So this is completely out of control. So I'm not going to make you wait hours and give you the big news later. I'm going to flesh it out, go through it. But yeah, the answer was, well, of course, that's what Trump's doing. Well, what do you think he's going to do? Yeah, it's ongoing, been going on before these attacks started on Tuesday. And Trump understands that the deep state would try to do this and hand him a full war, or maybe blow up the planet and give us a legacy of ashes. So that is going on. The other big news is what's really going on with this purported intercontinental ballistic missile. The ballistic missile again goes up into space and comes back down. A cruise missile flies either low or high, but in the atmosphere. Nuclear bombs are dropped out of aircraft. You can fire nuclear weapons out of artillery. You can hand deliver them. They've got two-man teams, more modern versions of the Davy Crockett. You've got torpedo-delivered nuclear weapons, space-based nuclear weapons that you don't get told about but are there and admitted to have been paid for. Got a lot of other exotic weapons, Sabo meteor guns,
under attack,
X-ray lasers, cyclotronic particle beams, and a lot more. Smart pebbles, the list goes on and on. And that's just what I know.
Look at that crazy shit they were dropping on them. What
So-
the fuck is that shit? Some serious shit going on.
There's also all these ultrasonic aircraft you see everywhere that are not aliens.
You motherfuckers are
And-
gonna get it, I'm telling you.
The globalists
You
want to
made
go
a
ahead and have
huge
this world
fucking
war,
mistake.
even though it'll wipe out most of civilization. They've got their super deep underground bases because China and Russia and others are now
Well,
getting up to the
providing
point where the
big
U.S. was
mistake
30
for
years ago and have also developed the free energy technologies and anti-grav and all those systems. And so the globalists don't want other countries to get that because they want the world government. They want the world government, they believe, for the stability of the planet in the future. But to do that, they've got to depopulate most of the earth, create basically museums where you have groups of primitive type agrarian people, high-tech city states that the globalists live in, Elysium type facilities, but on the earth. And the earth then basically is turned into a national park for the new off-world civilization. And I told you this decades ago. Jeff Bezos 2 years ago came out and said the earth will be a nature preserve and everybody will be depopulated. And I mean, that's their Reich, their Hitlerian 1,000-year megalomaniac plan. Obviously, it's not going to work. People are going to find out about it. People don't want to be depopulated. When they cut the food off, it'll cause mass unrest and war. The Russians aren't going to roll over. Others aren't going to roll over. And once the plan's out, no matter how science fiction-esque and nightmarish it is, when people see the plan unfolding right in front of them, they're going to listen to me. And they are. They're listening to others. And Musk is saying everything I'm saying. So Musk wants all this to be public and everybody to have access to it. There's unlimited space. And the globalists want to be sneaky and bad and evil and don't want you to have it. So yeah, Musk is a transhumanist to a certain extent. He's a libertarian. He just wants it to be public. You can make the decision whether you want to be a cyborg or whatever. And he says this course to cut off resources will trigger a global conflagration and kill everybody. So he's just sensible transhumanist. And very open about it. I respect that. The New World Order globalist psychos are not, and they're going to get us all killed. So there's the big picture. So I'll get back into Trump behind the scenes with Musk trying to broker a ceasefire until Trump gets in and then a major peace deal. But first, let me get into the ICBM. Now, there's a debate whether it's a classic intercontinental ballistic missile or whether it's an intermediate range ballistic missile. That really doesn't matter. A ballistic missile goes up into space and then comes down. So it has a arc like one half of the McDonald's arches. It goes up, then it comes out of space at 30,000 miles an hour, and it's very hard to shoot down. Now, Russia responded overnight in Ukraine by hitting a major factory munitions depot. And when you see the ballistic missile, whether it's intermediate range or long range, it doesn't matter, it's a ballistic missile that goes up into space in Russian territory and then comes back down to Ukrainian territory. And again, the thing about a ballistic missile is it's just as easy to shoot it straight up and have it hit 100 miles away as it is to have it hit 10,000 miles away, because once you get into space, there's no drag on the aeronautics of the warhead package. And so in just a few minutes, it's launched out of Russia and it comes down on New York or Chicago or Austin, Texas or Los Angeles. So that's why they're such a good weapon, is that they get there fast, they got big payloads. So when you look at what's coming into the atmosphere and coming down through that low cloud cover and destroying that weapons complex, what you're seeing is MIRV technology. And that's important. That's multiple reentry vehicles that can have a conventional warhead of high explosives. They can have a chemical warhead, but they're designed, and their main mission is carrying a hydrogen bomb or an atomic bomb or a neutron bomb or some of the other nasties they've got that I'm not going to talk about on air. So, so that was a demonstration of precision ballistic missile with conventional payloads.
Oh, that's you.
to illustrate that Russia
Yeah, I'm looking on that iceberg over there.
can launch a nuclear attack anywhere they want in the world at any time and drop the warheads down to a few square feet of where they want, and that NATO's anti-missile defense systems and anti-ballistic missile defense systems didn't stop one warhead. Now, let me explain how MIRV technology, around since the 60s, perfected by the 80s, that Bill Clinton gave to China in the 90s. Russia wouldn't even give it to them. They've had it since the 70s. You fire a ballistic missile. You can have a small payload, a big payload, depending on the size of the rocket. If they wanted to weaponize the Falcon Heavy, they're going to have 400 launches in the next couple of years of those, by the way. You could put 100 large hydrogen bombs in the nose cone of that baby, easily. Hell, they're so miniaturized now, maybe 500. All right? Each one would blow up Dallas, Texas. Everything flattened. So, do you hear what I just said? You could put on the biggest ballistic missile in the world, hundreds of hydrogen bombs that would blow up hundreds of Dallas, Texas, hundreds of Chicago, Illinois, hundreds of New Yorks. Now, the missiles, the different sizes the Russians have, generally would carry the smaller ones between 5 and 10, the largers up to 20 to 40, depending on the size of the bombs. Now, it goes up, and then it maneuvers to where it wants to come down in its trajectory and telemetry. And then when it comes back into the atmosphere, the nose cone splits off and opens, and then rockets on the back of smaller delivery devices, or MIRVs, blast off and accelerate to hypersonic speeds of up to 30,000 miles an hour. And if they had hydrogen bombs on them, they would have detonated at about 2,000 feet, not at point blank range. So you would see, if it was a hydrogen bomb, you would have seen there giant hydrogen bomb explosives. When you see a lot of the nuclear testing, they would do it on the ground, you see the, and then a mushroom cloud. No, when they go in the atmosphere, it's airburst. And then it destroys everything on the ground, and it's a friendly thing to do because, and I'm serious, because even if it's a clean hydrogen bomb, if you detonate it on the ground, any metals that are part of the nuclear explosion during the chain reaction will create super radioactive isotopes. I mean, God forbid you shoot a hydrogen bomb at a factory full of cobalt. If a small hydrogen bomb detonated at a factory full of cobalt, the entire surface of the earth would be unlivable for billions of years. All right, well, when it goes into steel or aluminum or silver or gold or all those different metals, copper, it just throws out, it's the equivalent of giant nuclear reactors melting down, okay? So that's one reason you do airburst is you want to make that area livable later. And you don't want to breathe the radiation downstream in your own country when it gets in the atmosphere. So, the Russians just simulated a massive nuclear attack on Ukraine. And again, you want to spread the bombs out. It's not just that you detonated 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 feet, depending on the size of the weapon. You also can have it come back into near-Earth atmosphere, and then you can have one MIRV package fire those rockets out over 1,000 or more miles and hit a whole bunch of targets. They just hit that military factory complex and laid them right into, reportedly it hit dead on, right in the top of all those factories. Each one went right into the roof, right where they wanted it, to say, you see that? We can shoot this up your ass from Russia. We can shoot this down your chimney. And we just demonstrated, we just blew up this giant factory complex. Now, you got Bolton and McCaffrey and all these globalist stooges that couldn't fight their way out of a wet paper bag all over TV. You've got the idiot Austin, Secretary of Defense, all over TV saying, I played some of it yesterday, but I saw more last night. Oh, they don't have any technology. They don't have any weapons. Their nukes don't work. What type of ridiculous horse crap is that? These are the people that couldn't stop Donald Trump getting into office. These are the inheritors of the people that couldn't beat the Vietnamese. Yeah, they got control of the government. They're a bunch of crooks, but they're not all powerful, and they're losing power, and they're trying to hold the world nuclear hostage, and now they're saying, oh, don't worry, Russia's nukes are old and don't work. Horse crap. I've read all the doctrine. I've read the Pentagon public reports. I've talked to the weapons experts, and they tell me that the United States has a limited arsenal of supersonic super weapons that are badass. But most of our systems are rotting. And it's the same thing with the Russians. But if the Russians have got 40,000 nuclear weapons and 30,000+ delivery systems, and I'm being very conservative there, let's say 10% of them work, which way more than that are going to work. Anybody knows about this stuff? You think a bunch of plastic explosive jacketed in a hydrogen bomb made 30 years ago? Anybody knows about explosives and hardwired electronics? All they got to do is put new batteries in that thing. Hey, folks, do explosives get more powerful or less powerful over time? I'm talking about the conventional explosives that detonate the uranium or plutonium or fire the uranium into the plutonium. No, it has almost no effect how old they are. That's bull crap. It affects how fast the missiles are. Well, it doesn't matter when one goes up into space and then comes back down on your ass because it's already got the gravity of Earth and it's coming in at 20, 30,000 miles an hour. And you think Bolton even knows all this? No, he knows how to walk around and act cool with that stupid mustache. You think Lloyd Austin knows anything? Look at his background. He's a front man. He's a dumbass. So the American people beat the globalists and got Trump in. Are they all powerful? The answer is no, they aren't. So Russia just simulated successfully a nuclear weapon attack on Ukraine with precision. And here's the big takeaway. It didn't get stopped. You notice you don't even see attempts. You don't even see other explosions up in the atmosphere trying to stop it. No, because that's what these things do. Probably they got systems, might have been going 35,000 miles an hour. You gonna stop that? Yeah, there's some limited lasers that can do it. But you don't think the Russians are jacketing these in laser-resistant material? We'll be right back. Stay with us. I respectfully ask you to pay attention to what I'm about to say because it is critical in 3 important ways. It'll keep my broadcast on the air. It will get you the highest quality, amazing CBD that's so
Serious
good
shit
for your
going
whole
on.
body, inflammation, joints,
Nuclear war.
you name it, and you're getting the best deal you're going to find anywhere. I've been promoting and selling CBD for more than 20 years. Everybody knows how amazing it is, but not all CBD is equal. This is a high quality, made in Texas, very strong CBD, 1,000 milligram tincture that is been put in nanoparticles, so it's 8 to 9 times stronger than regular CBD that already gives you great effects. On top of that, we private label it from a top company that sells it to a bunch of other companies that sell it from between $140 to $90 to $76. This is the lowest price you're going to find on CBD of this quality anywhere in the market. The industry just massively marks it up. There's still some good margin in here for our sponsor to support their operation and support us, and then that savings is passed on to you. So if you want to get great CBD and keep the broadcast on air, visit JonesCBD.com. JonesCBD.com. Let me tell you the names of these products. Ultra Green, because it's amazing, and Dreamwave. You want to get both of these, and it supports the broadcast. You will not be disappointed, particularly if you're already into CBD, and you take this that costs a third or half of what you're paying, and you get a great response. I know you're going to love it. That's what I'm looking for, is repeat customers for our sponsor, JonesCBD.com. Thanks for your support. This is the best deal out there, and it funds the fight against tyranny, a total 360 win. Visit JonesCBD.com today, and I thank you for your support. All right, just minutes ago, Putin just released a world address. I'm getting the transcript right now. We've translated it from Russia, and I'll be breaking that news here in a moment. But Putin just said what I just said. We beat him by about 25 minutes. He said the ICBM attack was a nuclear demonstration that they can hit Ukraine with nuclear weapons and that NATO can't stop the missiles. So, see? I know what I'm talking about. I broke that exclusively, and I didn't get that from sources. I understand the weapons and what just happened. So we're going to get an English translation of that for you right now. All right, let's...
Where is this clown?
We do have an English translation of it right now. Let's go ahead and roll that.
The Russian citizens and our friends around the world, as well as those who still nurture illusions that a strategic defeat can be inflicted against Russia, about events that are happening in the Special Military Operations Zone. I'm talking about what happened in the wake of long-range Western weapons being used in the Special Military Operations Zone. As a result of the escalation, the United States and their NATO allies said that they give their permission to use long-range weapons against targets inside Russia. Experts know fully well, and the Russian side has underscored this time and again, that using such weapons without the direct involvement of military operators from manufacturing countries is impossible. On November the 19th, 6 ATACMS missiles manufactured in the US were used, and on the 21st, a combined attack using Storm Shadow manufactured in the UK and missiles manufactured in the US were used to attack missile targets in the Bryansk and Kursk regions of the Russian Federation. Starting from that point, as we have underscored many times, the regional conflict in Ukraine, provoked by the West, acquired a global character. Our anti-missile systems countered those attacks. As a result, the targets and objectives set by the enemy were not achieved. The fire and the ammunition storage in the Bryansk region, as a result of fragments of ATACMS missiles falling, has been contained. No victims. In the Kursk region, one of the command and control centers of our Sever group was attacked. As a result of the attack and the countermeasures, there have been people wounded and killed, and those who were involved in servicing these facilities, those who were members of the command, have not been hit by the attack and are now continuing their operation to remove the enemy from the Kursk region. I repeat, the use of such weapons cannot change the course of the special military operation. Our military is successfully advancing along the entire line of contact, and all the objectives that we set before ourselves will be met. As a response to the use of US and UK manufactured weapons, the Russian forces have carried out a combined strike on one of the military-industrial facilities in Ukraine. And this included the test of a novel intermediate range Russian missile system, a ballistic missile with a non-nuclear hypersonic payload was used. The test was carried out successfully. The objectives of the launch have been met. One of the largest and well-known industrial centers that is known since the Soviet times in the Dnieper region, which is known and to be involved in enemy production, was hit. And further plans are being made in Europe and the Asia Pacific to deploy weapons and missiles. And we believe it is a mistake on the part of the United States to destroy the system that was established by the Missile Treaty in 2019. We see that the United States and their allies are now considering and has successfully tested their capabilities to deploy advanced missile systems in different parts of the world. And their exercises routinely include the use of such weapons. Russia has unilaterally refused to deploy intermediate and small-range missiles until we see similar weapons deployed by the United States in a region of the world. The use of the novel system, which was essentially an operational test, was carried out in response to the decisions made by the United States and their allies. And the further actions will be considered and decided based on what we see from them. The further course of action will be determined based on the threats to the security of the Russian Federation. We believe that we have the right to use our weapons against military facilities of countries who allow their weapons to be used against ours. And in case of an escalation, we will act as decisively in a mirror fashion. The ruling elites of the countries are nurturing plans to use their military contingents against Russia should be warned. When choosing measures to be used in response, such as the use of systems that was tested recently in Ukraine, will certainly include warnings to civilians and to clear the zones that will be targeted. And we will certainly do this in a transparent fashion. And we do not have any fears that it will reduce the effectiveness of those systems, because there is no way to counteract a missile that flies at 10 Mach, which is 2.5 to 3 kilometers per second. Existing anti-missile systems and the anti-missile systems deployed by the United States and Europe cannot intercept such missiles. It is impossible. So, once again, it is not Russia, but the United States who have destroyed the system of international security. And they are trying to preserve their hegemony and stoking a global conflict. We have always preferred, and we still prefer, to resolve our disagreements using peaceful means, but we are prepared for any scenario. And if anyone has any doubts, they shouldn't. There will always be a response.
Have doubt, you shouldn't.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, just so listeners understand, this is all I do. That broke 12 minutes ago. I wrote the headlines for the show 10 minutes before we went live. And for the Alex Jones Network feed, we have a bunch of feeds, but we'll put it on screen. What did I say? Global exclusive. Russia's successful ICBM attack on Ukraine weapons factory was a clear demonstration that Putin's nuclear force delivery systems can defeat NATO's anti-missile systems. Must watch, share, live edition of the Alex Jones Show. And he word for word just said what I said, because that is a fact if you know the weapons and the countries and the doctrines. And I understand to liberals that tune in, this all sounds like somebody trying to sound like a professor or something. And, oh, this guy's really funny. Man, he can really make up some stuff. He really sounds like he knows what he's talking about, but he's full of crap. You're the people that teach. And Bill Nye, the science guy, they took down his old movie shows for kids from 30 years ago, 20 years ago. They've re-released them saying there are no X and Y chromosomes. So you're the people that, again, say two men can have a baby. You're in the cult. I'm not. And I'm sorry I'm informed, and I'm sorry you're not. The left's everywhere saying they don't want atrazine out of the water. I have videos and articles. Kennedy's crazy. Who cares if atrazine's in the water? The allowable amount in almost all of our water supply bends gender, gives you cancer, destroys fertility, turns the frogs gay, literally. They try to have sex with males, and their populations plummet. The left are all over TV drinking seed oils that are machine lubricant because they're mad that Trump might at least put warnings on them. You are in a damn cult. You want to drink atrazine, you want to eat seed oils, you don't know what ICBMs are, you don't know what MIRVs are, you don't know what nuclear demonstrations of force are. You don't know anything. You're in a cult. I wish you'd listen. I wish you were smart.
Cult.
But you're not. You're stupid. So that said, let's go to the real Alex Jones headline that I wrote 10 minutes before the show. What did I tell you there? That has not broken yet. And if Trump doesn't get a successful deal, it will never break. But it answers the question, where is Trump for 3 days since our country started bombing Russia? And now I feel good because he is on it. Global exclusive. Trump/Elon Musk are working behind the scenes to broker a Ukraine-Russia ceasefire, a major peace deal. The desperate globalists are doing everything they can to escalate the conflict into full world war. Must watch, share. Now, I know the listeners that routinely listen know that I'm pretty informed on a lot of subjects. But we have millions of new viewers a day that are tuning in to see what it's all about. This is why the DOJ is trying to close us. This is why they don't like us, because I just don't want my family to die in a nuclear war. And I'm informed. And I've done this for 30 years. And all I do is interview top experts. Former top UN weapons inspectors, former top UN prosecutors, former top U.S. generals, chairmen of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, former heads of the Air Force, former top CIA. And I also do all my own research, and quite frankly, in the general areas, most people are specialists. I am a generalist in all of this. I collectively have more knowledge than any of these people I've ever talked to. And they always think at dinner or on the phone or in person that I'm a freak because I know all this stuff. I don't know how anyone wouldn't want to know about nuclear weapons, their delivery systems, and threat postures, and known arsenals versus secret arsenals. I don't know how anyone would want to interview, before he died more than 10 times, the head of the Star Wars program, Dr. Bob Bowman. I don't know why anyone wouldn't want to interview the current head at the time of the HARP project. He came on. I don't know why anyone wouldn't want to get the deathbed confession of E. Howard Hunt that ran the assassination operation of JFK. I don't know why anyone wouldn't want to interview LBJ's admitted mistress before she died about how LBJ bragged about killing Kennedy before and after. I've interviewed thousands and thousands and thousands of people. He would never come on, but for a decade, I talked to Anthony Sutton all the time, the former Senate head archivist who saw all the secret documents. That's what I do. I interviewed the woman who leaked all the documents on Skull and Bones because her father was in it, Charlotte Isby, probably 100 times. This is what I do. I was the first person to ever infiltrate Bohemian Grove successfully. This is what I do. So I just showed you exactly what Russia did. No one else anywhere was saying it. And then 15 minutes after I break it, they release, we got the timestamp, the Vladimir Putin video. So this is not about me up here, oh, look, I'm right again. It's I'm telling you known facts by people that are informed. So when Lloyd Austin and all the rest of the globalist scum and neocons, like John Bolton, are all over television yesterday and today saying, don't worry, Russia can't wipe their ass. Russia doesn't have any nuclear weapons that work. That is horse manure. Russia is on record, and the United States has got stuff better. But that's a ruse that we don't have better hypersonic missiles than they do. We've got, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if a missile hits you going 30,000 miles an hour or 25,000 miles an hour. Doesn't matter if a missile's going 3,000 feet per second or 2,000 feet per second. It doesn't matter at those speeds. It doesn't matter if Russians drop 300 megaton bombs on us and we drop 400 megaton bombs on them. It doesn't matter. It's like saying, does it matter if you get fed into a giant industrial wood chipper or just an industrial wood chipper? Does it matter if you get hit by an 18-wheeler dead on at 100 miles an hour or 80 miles an hour? It makes no difference. Does it matter if you get shot with a 12 gauge 100 times or 50 times?
You're going in that meat grinder, bar. You're going in there, par.
I'm going to tell you again.
Get ready, boy.
And no one's denying this now. And now there's headlines about
Well, your
World War
daddy
III's already
fucking
begun
said
today.
now.
Forgot to tell crew to print those up.
You better be happy.
Headlines like, has the New World War already begun? It's, oh, you see, they're easing you in, sleepwalking you in to Armageddon. So I don't get up here and say all this to sound smart or sound dramatic. I know this information. The people at the Pentagon know this information. Yep. The Hill today. Print that up for me. World War III is here. World War III is now. What did I say yesterday? I said within 48 hours, you will hear that World War III has begun. People equate the term World War III with nuclear war. No. In the first phase, you see what's happening now. Germany preparing for Third World War. It's already begun, my friends. So, what are we going to do about it? It's not World War III. It's about to begin, but World War Z has begun. London Independent, Joe Biden is granting Ukraine permission to use NATO-supplied rockets to attack military targets within Russia is an escalation of European conflict now passes its 1,000th day. And though it is far from being a global conflict, the West is effectively now at war with Putin's forces. Say Mark Almond. Yeah. Putin said 2 months ago and a month ago and a week ago, he said, if you hit us with these missiles or even greenlight them publicly, we are officially at war with you. And now the Russians have just demonstrated that they can fire a ballistic missile tipped with whatever payload they want and that it will evade the anti-missile systems of NATO and the armed camp and war laboratory of the globalists that is Ukraine. So, why don't you have Rob Dew go into the first hour yesterday and get where I said within the next 48 hours you'll hear that we're in World War III. And then just take a clip back a few minutes ago where I show the articles. See, this has all been war gamed thousands of times that I know of, probably a lot more, by the U.S. government alone. So I've read hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of the declassified boil downs of these scenarios and the different counter scenarios. So I know this backwards and forwards, and anybody that studies it would. I know it's not cool like a football game. I don't know anything about football.
There he is.
I mean,
look.
I used to. Decades, I won't pay attention to it. I mean, I to be nice with my parents, a month ago out at their farm, I watched a UT game and ate chili my mom made and sat there and researched World War III while they watched UT. It's cute, and I get it. But if people don't start caring about stopping nuclear war and stopping the collapse of Western civilization and stop the cutting off of fertilizer that grows the food and cutting off the energy that supplies the West, the globalists are openly announcing all over they're banning farms, England, Netherlands, Ireland, Sri Lanka, and saying, we're going to do this everywhere. You're not going to run to the country. I mean, we have mad scientists, death cult, human extinctionists that are almost in control of us. But now they've run into a brick wall. I am that brick wall. You are that brick wall. Elon Musk is that brick wall. Donald Trump is that wall. Knowledge is that wall. Praying to God to be given direction and discernment is that brick wall. So if we care about reality,
God, I hate that shit.
if we care about Russia saying, we just showed you that we can hit you with MERV technology on a hypersonic missile, and you saw the gleam in Putin's eye, you can bet NATO fired a bunch of stuff at that missile. You can bet space-based stuff took a shot at it. You can bet ground-based stuff took a shot at it. You can bet air-based stuff took a shot at it, and they didn't stop it. You see something like the first Star Wars that's cheesy, but it's really archetypal from 1970s Cold War knowledge. And Governor Tarkin has just gotten word from the Emperor that they've fully dissolved the Senate, and now the galaxy is truly under total tyranny. No local representation in the planetary systems. And he says to Princess Leia, while they're looking out the viewport at her home world, Alderaan, he says, if you don't tell me where the rebel base is, I'm going to blow up your home world. She goes, oh no, we're peaceful. We have no weapons. He says, then give me a military target to demonstrate this battle station. I've been given orders from the Emperor, and I will destroy the rebel base. She says, they're on Dantooine. He says, thank you. You may fire when ready. And she says, no, he said, that's too remote of a system to fully demonstrate the power of this battle station. Guys, pull that up. Pull up the destruction of Alderaan. It'll be on YouTube. Death Star destroys Alderaan. Now, that's a movie. Well,
How did he get hurt?
Vladimir Putin just demonstrated the thermonuclear destruction of Ukraine with a missile. Even a small one would hold 5 to 10 warheads. If that was spaced out geographically, with hydrogen bombs of even a medium size compared to what the spectrum today, basically all of Ukraine would be a flattened, burning wreck. One missile. You're like, well, wait a minute, we saw it come in and a bunch of little missiles hit. Yeah, because they wanted to target just that area. If it came in and then at 100,000 feet fired, it could vaporize every major city in Ukraine. Hour number 2 straight ahead. We can stop World War III together. Please support us. Here's the facts in 60 seconds. The Justice Department came into my bankruptcy, has tried to shut us down twice since May. The latest case was last week. The judge shut them down. They were thrown out of the building. crimes were committed. It's very clear. They're in a lot of trouble. I filed counter lawsuits, you name it. InfoWarsStore.com is in limbo. If you order there, you'll get your products. But the AlexJonesStore.com is our great sponsors in Arkansas with t-shirts and great supplements that are funding not just InfoWars, but the Alex Jones Network in case this gets shut down at another hearing next week. So a lot of people aren't going to the AlexJonesStore.com right now. We're getting messages, oh, we don't want to give money to The Onion. The Onion didn't get InfoWars, and they don't own Alex Jones, and they don't own the Alex Jones Network. I don't even own that. It's the sponsor. So again, when you go there and get great Trump gear, Alex Jones gear, Patriot gear, incredible supplements like Ultimate CMOS, collectible posters, incredible designer knives, and more at the AlexJonesStore.com, you are keeping me on the air one way or another, and we need the funds. Over the weekend, folks, we saw our funds cut in half, and people told us, well, we don't want to give it to The Onion. The Onion does not own me. They do not own the AlexJonesStore.com. So thanks for your past support. Get great products now. I need your support now. We're fighting the deep state at point blank range. Please go to the AlexJonesStore.com right now and get some of the great products. This fight is your fight. We are taking on the New World Order. We are reaching 50, 60, 70, 80 million people a day. We are kicking New World Order ass, and they are fighting us. I can beat them, but not without your help. Please visit the AlexJonesStore.com right now. I'm going to say it again. It's not owned by me. It's not owned by The Onion. It's not owned by the Easter Bunny. It's owned by great patriots in Arkansas with their own factories, making their own knives, t-shirts, and then private labeling top supplements and selling them to you. It's the AlexJonesStore.com. It's the future, one way or another. Become a VIP for $30 a month. Cancel anytime. You get $40 to spend in the store. So if you're going to support, you got to be a VIP member. The AlexJonesStore.com/VIP. Now take action. They're trying to shut us down. We're fighting hard. We're winning. But the fight is close. So we need your prayer, your word of mouth, and your support right now at the AlexJonesStore.com.
Serious shit going on. On a war, boy.
We've entered the Alderaan system.
Governor Tarkin, I should have expected to find you holding Vader's leash. I recognized your foul stench when I was brought on board.
Charming to the last. You don't know how hard I found it signing the order to terminate your life.
I'm surprised you had the courage to take the responsibility yourself.
Princess Leia, before your execution, I would like you to be my guest at a ceremony that will make this battle station operational. No star system will dare oppose the Emperor now.
The more you tighten your grip, Tarkin, the more star systems will slip through your fingers.
Not after we demonstrate the power of this station. In a way, you have determined the choice of the planet that will be destroyed first. Since you are reluctant to provide us with the location of the rebel base, I have chosen to test this station's destructive power on your home planet of Alderaan.
No, Alderaan is peace, but we have no weapons. You can't
You will
possibly...
prefer another target, a military target? Then name the system. I grow tired of asking this, so it'll be the last time. Where is the rebel base?
Dantooine. They're on Dantooine.
There, you see, Lord Vader, she can be reasonable. Continue with the operation. You may fire when ready.
What?
You're far too trusty. Dantooine is too remote to make an effective demonstration, but don't worry. We will deal with your rebel friends soon enough.
Commence primary ignition.
All right, Putin started speaking live at 11:10 Central, and I announced in the first 5 minutes, and again at 6 after when we came back to join stations, that Putin did this as a demonstration of a hypersonic ballistic missile that could deliver nuclear weapons and that NATO couldn't stop it. Again, I just demonstrate this stuff for you. And last night, I was driving back down here at 7 o'clock at night, but there was a traffic jam. And I was going to say this last night that I believe that Putin would do an ICBM simulated nuke strike. I've actually got the text messages here. Hell, I'll show you. That I was coming up here to do that, and there was a giant traffic jam. I was in traffic 30 minutes. I hadn't moved 3 miles, and I came up to a spot where I could turn around on the road. And I called dude and said, go to your family. He was going to stay up until 10 at night with me. And I said, I got a responsibility to come break this, but it doesn't matter. I still broke it 10 minutes before Putin. So, and I just remember 10 minutes before we went live, I said, oh yeah, that. Oh, that's the ICBM test, of course. I mean, I just got to always go with the discernment and the knowledge. And so now when I tell you that Trump and Elon are working for a ceasefire, that's an exclusive. I'll talk more about it when we come back. We got some big guests coming up as well. Folks can pay attention. And when I tell you we're very close to nuclear war, maybe people will listen to me a little bit. I mean, I know people are listening, but no broadcast does this. That's why they have congressional hearings about me and say, we want that son of a bitch off the air. They've had Defense Department hearings on TV. We played the clips many times saying, we want Jones off the air. Because I have studied all of it. And it's very frustrating to be the only person with a big show that is this effective. We need to get everybody awake because it makes me a big target to be the only person. All right, I am in a paradox right now because I'm basically probably more effective not even doing a radio show, TV show, because I got a lot of phone calls coming in, a lot of sources and a lot of intel. And it's invaluable information, obviously. But I'm going to continue on here. But during the breaks, I'm working on some other big stuff we're about to break. Quite frankly, Matt Gaetz withdrawing his nomination in the last 30 minutes to be the Attorney General. Behind the scenes, we expected that because it's become a distraction. Matt Gaetz just pulled his nomination. Trump was still defending him this morning, saying he shouldn't. I believe this is Matt Gaetz' decision. I don't know that. I'll find out very quickly. But he would have been a great attorney general. The deep state's really messed with him hard. But they are going to turn this into a giant fiasco. And I'm saying go ahead with it because, Kavanaugh and all that crap they pulled there. They're doing it to RFK Jr., saying he, approached a babysitter wrongfully. I mean, it's so simple. This has happened to me. Any woman that ever worked here got calls from the national media, the Daily Mail, you name it, on record, offering them $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. The offers went as high as $50,000 to say I did something to them sexually. And multiple women that worked here called and told me about it and told people screw off. Alex Jones was nothing but a pure gentleman. And they got one woman, and they paid her. This later came out to say that I walked in the break room and said, I want to have a baby with you. Absolutely preposterous. Never did that. And it's just ridiculous. And let's just get down to facts here. I'm a married man. And if I want to get women, I sure as hell am not going to sit here and get them out of the office. And I'm not bragging or anything, but I've never had any trouble with women. So I'm not saying I'm Casanova or anything, but, I'm here on a mission. I mean, do you think Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Mr. Movie Star looks, is coming on to his babysitter? All total horse crap. Absolute, total, complete bull. And I know they data mined Facebook starting when Trump got elected. And they would see me at parties and things. I didn't go to a lot of parties, but they would data mine with face scanning technology and scan the database of Facebook, one of the services you could pay them to do. It's not really advertised, but you can do it. And they would then find out who women were through the database, call them, and then I got a lot of calls and emails and tracked down. These women would say, hey, remember at a party 3 years ago at X? Not at X, X2, I mean, just X place? No. Well, let me email you this photo. I took a photo with you. I posted it on Facebook with me and my husband, and I just got offered $10,000 to talk about what you did to me. And I just met you once, but I wanted you to know this is happening. I'm like, great, give me the name of the Daily Mail reporter. Oh, how'd you know it's Daily Mail? Just give it to me. Sure. You call them up, you say the Daily Mail, and you say, man, I really don't want to have to sue you. So what's going on? Well, we're just doing an investigation. So that happened a lot. So they're doing the same thing to Matt Gaetz. They're doing the same thing to RFK Jr. When I was getting divorced, now 11, 12 years ago, I did some dating for a while. And I was very impressed. They must have got my phone records or something, because I had quite a few women I dated contact me there. And these are women I had gone out with, that I had been with. And they said, yeah, I'm being offered money by this publication or this group or this organization, this group, to say bad things about you. And I just told them, you're a great guy. By the way, what are you doing? I mean, so this is the stuff that goes on. I treat women super nice. So does Trump. Women love me. And so, I mean, I know what's happening to Gaetz. I know what's happening to RFK Jr. It's bullcrap. And they interviewed a bunch of the women on Gaetz, that are all like 35, 40 years old now, because this goes back 12, 13, 40, 50 years. There were women, they said, oh, that guy's so nice. Oh, yeah, I did date him. And yeah, I did have sex with him in a hotel room. We took, ecstasy. It was me and two other girls. It was really fun. He's a great guy. Oh, my God. Matt Gaetz, when he was 25 years old, and they show the women, on TV, they're like super gorgeous. People are like, damn, Matt Gaetz is quite the stud. So, yeah, Matt Gaetz is human. Okay, so now we know. So that's all we got, huh? That's it? We're really bad people. We like women. So, sorry we don't like kids. Sorry we're not pedos. Sorry we're not having anal sex on top of the Senate conference hearing room. Sorry we're not stealing people's luggage while we also oversee the nuclear stockpile. Sorry we're not weird men with wigs on, talking on TV about how they want to chop your son's genitals off like Rachel Levine.
Didn't think it through.
Sorry we're not funding drag queen story time with convicted pedophiles showing up at public schools unannounced, not telling parents, with kids bouncing on men dressed up like clowns. And in some of the photos and videos, the men have erections. And the teacher comes and has the kid lay on them on the floor in a grooming. Yeah, that's all okay to put in public schools for elementary and middle school students, books about pedophilia with graphic novels with real lifestyle graphics, lifelike cartoons of little boys being molested by men.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Sorry, I dated some women.
Who the fuck is he?
When I was getting divorced. Oh my gosh. Imagine that. So that's where we are. That's what's going on in this country. Now I want to go over all the military news, latest developments. I broke massive news in the first hour. I'm going to recap it, give you more details. But since we're talking about
don't go to the roof, there's a guy up there now.
Matt Gaetz, let's look at what they were gearing up to do. And of course, they're going to do this to every male nominee that Trump nominates. Oh, they're not going to talk much about P. Diddy and all the Democrats, his connection to Epstein. They're not going to talk about Kamala Harris's husband and his connections. No, they're going to talk about Matt Gaetz 15 years ago with party girls Gates withdraws from consideration for Attorney General. And we got Trump's response to that. But here's what was happening in the lead up to that. House Ethics Panel did not agree to release the Gates report yet. GOP warns Gates hearings will be Kavanaugh on steroids. Well, that turned the country against him. Doesn't work. Yahoo News, graphic sex assault claims about Trump Secretary of Defense nominee Pete Hegseth detailed in bombshell police report. Mediaite obtains full police report on sexual assault allegation. Federal inquiry traced payments from Gates to women. Exclusive, former babysitter to RFK Jr.'s kids speaks out about sexual assault allegation. Cooney knew then she had to speak, so this summer she went public with her story about how Kennedy, a man going after Big Pharma, a man closer to her father's age really, groped her when she worked as a live-in nanny for his family. She was then 23 years old. I know there are hardworking people who don't have skeletons in their closet, Cooney said in an exclusive interview with the USA Today, and I wish we were electing people with fewer skeletons in their closet. Then they go on to say he abandoned his presidential bid because of it. No, they wouldn't even let him on the ballot in most areas. It happened so quickly. Why, it was 25 years ago, she claims, when she began working for Kennedy at his environmental law clinic during the week and weekends as family's babysitter. As part of the job, she moved to Kennedy's house in New York. Kennedy had 3 kids who lived with him and 2 kids of a previous marriage who visited on weekends. She knew Kennedy men had reputations for being wealthy, good-looking, and forward with women, but she was still shocked. I'm surprised it happened so quickly, she said. One night there was a meeting in the family kitchen, and Kennedy and another person were there to talk about work related to the law clinic. She said she felt Kennedy rubbing her leg under the table. Another time, she said, a shirtless Kennedy, oh my God. Then 46 appeared in her bedroom doorway, asking her to rub lotion on him. She said the unenthusiastically obliged in order to get it over with. Later, she said he approached her from behind in the kitchen pantry and started groping her, sliding his hands from her hips to the sides of her breast. While doing so, he was blocking her exit from the small room. Then she went public. Years later, decades later. Yeah. It just goes on and on and on.
Some of them killed him, and then I killed that guy.
The same crap. And of course, the Kavanaugh women all got completely discredited. The woman that said Trump in an open stall, that doesn't even have doors, where people try shoes on, she couldn't remember what year, came up and grabbed her. And then he said he was innocent, so he's found liable twice by juries, not for raping or doing it, no, just for saying he was innocent. Oh. Can't say you're innocent. Of course you can, whether you are or not. And then she said, I wore this dress when he assaulted me on the cover of Vogue. And then it turned out they made that dress 2 years plus after she said he assaulted her. It didn't exist. Like if she said, I was in the back of the year of the car and he jumped in the car and assaulted me. And then the car, she says, wasn't made and didn't exist till 2 years later. That's called discredited. Plus, the woman is a known insane loonball. But, I don't believe this stuff because it's been discredited almost every time. And the mainstream media, the corporate media, the dinosaur media, the legacy media only cares when it's a patriot going up against the evil system that they bring this up. And they cover up all the real stuff. It's even in the WikiLeaks. Children, 7-year-olds being delivered to John Podesta to service him in the upstate New York farm's hot tub for his entertainment.
Duh.
The children are well trained, but they are children, they say.
Careless, but
So
I mean, y'all don't realize that.
that's where we are. But, you know, covering all of this, I've got congresswomen flipping out with racist, anti-white garbage. I mean, all that's interesting. All that's important. I've got England openly announcing they're going to basically take everybody's farms because they want to move illegal aliens into them. I mean, I've got a lot here. But at the end of the day, the big news is the war front, because that's definitely the globalist move. They may pull some other stuff, false flags, Civil War crap, but right now they're going with the World War III scenario. So we'll get back to that here in a few minutes. And I intend to open the phones up as well and cover all this other news. But because I didn't do it in the first hour, let me do it now. Let me ask listeners, would you like to keep us on the air? Would you like to give Liberty a major victory? Would you like us to continue to give you tomorrow's news today? Would you like us to continue to reach conservatively 70 million people a day? Would you like to stop World War III? Would you like to secure the border? Would you like to stop inflation? Would you like to get energy prices down by half? Trump has a plan to do it, and he will. Would you like to see him in office in 59 days? Would you like to find the missing 325,000 kids the Senate admits in their own reports are there that Harris shipped in with Mayorkas? Would you like to see them prosecuted? Would you like to see the lawfare stopped against the American people? Would you like to see the harassment of conservatives and populists come to an end? Would you like to see Fauci prosecuted? Well, then, this is the broadcast for you. And I see people comment, it's a minority of them, they say, why is Jones always fundraising? Well, I'm not Elon Musk, who spent billions defending his agenda and lost tens of billions in censorship, who's got the money to do it and the guts. I'm not Trump that had $15, $16 billion 8 years ago and now something like $6 billion. Yeah. He says, I don't care about the money, but it's hurting bad. I mean, every time I said at Trump Hotel in D.C., they pulled fire alarms over and over again. They said, yeah, that was all night. The left does it. 2 or 3 times a night. Till he has to sell them. You can't even operate them. All over the country. So can you imagine just that? I mean, it's everywhere. So you want people to fight for you. You want people to take on the New World Order. Why did Trump win? Because you got politically active, you spread the word, you made massive small donations to him so you can spend up to $200 million just for the fight to expose the election fraud and the thousands of lawsuits he had to file and the thousands of lawyers they had in counties around the country to file suits just to get in and to be able to watch what they were bringing in at 3 a.m. in those trucks and 2 a.m. and 1 a.m. So you gave Trump billions of dollars. And he put Laura Trump in there and she did a great job. And we mitigated the fraud and we got a landslide. Not as big as it would have been, but a landslide. Popular and Electoral College. And they're still got the election going, trying to steal those. They're getting caught and saying, we don't care, we are stealing it. Trump's bad. Pennsylvania, other places. People are getting indicted all over the country. So you engage the enemy to show the corruption. You don't give up because it's corrupt. So because you got off the bench and kicked New World Order ass in the info war, we've got a major victory. We won a major battle. The war's not over. So they tried to throw us out of the office on May 31st. Another Justice Department official that the Justice Department put in my bankruptcy case. I stood against it. Had the lawyers, went and had the hearing, the judge fired them. And they said, the new trustee said, well, we want to sell it. I said, yeah, but it's a free and open auction. My debt's non-dischargeable. No matter how much money I give, it never goes away, unless it's $1.5 billion. I said, sure. And then they rigged that and got caught doing that. And we're fighting there. And then they turned off the internet, so I couldn't do the show last Thursday. I went to the Alex Jones Network backup that you paid for, supporting me. See, I'll never give up if you back me. I'm like a tractor, just keeps plowing, but it's got to have diesel. Got to have oil occasionally. So I am your war machine. I am your sentinel. I am 100% committed. I love fighting tyranny. This is a real honor and a real pleasure that you have commissioned me for 30 plus years in the fight against these people. But I am up against the Democrats and the deep state and the DOJ, and they have put in the court filings, last time I checked, in the last 7 years suing me, $79 million. It is approaching $16 million that I have spent of your money fighting them and holding on while we did our important work. You invested money in freedom and liberty in your own defense, and no investment other than Trump that you invested time, money, prayer, and energy in paid off like we did. We delivered the goods to you. I bet on you. You bet on me. We are family. I don't worry about getting killed. I don't worry about getting put in prison. And Lord knows they've tried. By the grace of God and his angels, I'm still here. But whatever happens, I don't blame God. I knew what I got into. I'm fully committed. I've seen our spectacular success. Praise Jesus. All glory to God. And I am so honored. If today was my last day and they kill me today, which I don't want to happen, I'm not suicidal. I would be honored and blessed. If I got out of my car tonight and they tasered me and threw me in a van and took me to some warehouse and pulled my teeth out with pliers, I would be praising God to the minute they blew my brains out. Because I did what I wanted to do. I felt the Holy Spirit. I took the mission. When the angel came with the commission 26 years ago, and told me what was going to happen, and said, are you willing to die? Are you willing to have your family attacked? Are you willing to be demonized? The first part of the commission was, let us give you a little taste of different scenarios. And I sat there for 20 minutes just downloading all of it. Trillions of thoughts racing.
Where did that come from?
And I said, yes, yes, yes. And it was the message, because you want to save the children. Because you know they're in bondage, because you know they're being tortured, because you know they're being hurt. We are here. God sent us. We were there when you were 3 years old in the bed at night, and the Holy Spirit visited you, and we showed you the pain of the children, and you cried, and the connection was there, and we've been preparing you, and that's why all these bad things happen to you, and that's why evil's always attacked you. We were making you strong, and God loves you, and God is raising you up. Now, do you want the mission, son? I want the mission, and I spiritually signed the contract. And then instantly flattened with blasting knowledge of how to take down the New World Order that I couldn't even understand. For another hour until they started coming over saying, we're closing. God waited till I was in a restaurant, already worked all day, sitting there thinking about God and understanding the mission, and then a little bit of the fear. And I'm like, what is that? Well, this is big. This is the future. Well, what's going on? And feeling the incredible presence of power, not in me, around me. And then the communication. And I want to stay with that. I mean, this is not a burden. This is a blessing. And supporting what I do is supporting your own future. When you go to the AlexJonesStore.com and get great supplements that will work and are amazing, and get great Patriot apparel, you'll meet like-minded people that'll support the show, and you get a collector's item poster, memento that you backed the Second American Revolution, that you were part of it. That's amazing. That's an opportunity to be in this army, to be in this force. You're already part of it. That's why you're tuned in. Now, really support, really join the fight at the AlexJonesStore.com and the other great supplement company of my dad, drjonesnaturals.com. Be part of history. Be part of turning the tide. Support us now. We'll be right back. My mission on air is to tell the truth, to rally humanity, and fight the globalists. And we've done one of the best jobs out there thanks to your support. So we know InfoWars could easily be shut down on November 13th. We're going to find out. But regardless, we've got great sponsors that are backing us to make sure the message of liberty and freedom and the resistance to the WEF, Bill Gates, Barack Obama, King Charles, Kamala Harris, New World Order continues to be in their face and continues to keep myself and the great crew at the tip of the spear. So, we have a great sponsor, the AlexJonesStore.com, with amazing t-shirts and caps and hoodies. They're really some of the best designs out there, and they fund the fight against the New World Order. But we've also brought you some of the very best supplements. And we could have had a whole huge line by now, but we want to go out to the very best companies and get agreements to private label already bestsellers that are the top rated. That way we know you're getting the best. So we've got the CMOS gummies, the CMOS capsules, total superfood. Then you have the mega superfood with over 90 ingredients, the Optimal Human. It's the best of the green drinks out there, hands down. Plus the energy is amazing. That's all at the AlexJonesStore.com. But now we are announcing the Ultimate Probiotic. That's the line, Ultimate. And it's just a very high quality probiotic, the foundation that everybody needs at a very affordable price. Upwards of 50% off when you buy multiple bottles. Big sales. Everything's at least 30% off when it comes to the supplements at the AlexJonesStore.com. This is a high-end, quality probiotic that helps your gut be healthier, helps you absorb nutrients better, helps your whole immune system, and you will find Ultimate Probiotic with 60 billion, that's a very high number if you don't know about probiotics, at the AlexJonesStore.com. A whole bunch of other great stuff's coming out in the next few weeks, so continue to check out the URL, the AlexJonesStore.com, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your support. We salute you. We are back live, broadcasting worldwide. It is 12:35 Central Standard Time. General Flynn is in an emergency meeting. He'll probably be joining us later, if not tomorrow or this evening. He's coming to town as well Sunday, Monday. He's got basically the same analysis I've got. I want to do this. I want to drill through more details because I've already given you the breakdown gestalt. I know most of you know this or more than I know, depending on the area. I'm not claiming to be saying things that most of you don't know. But remember, it's the lost sheep that God has commissioned us to at least give the message to so that they can make a decision to join us or harden their hearts and cut themselves off from God. But I do want to open the phones up for several hours, and I'm going to start that now. So let's get the phone system fired up. Let's get Harmon in the cockpit to take those calls, and I'll start taking your calls here in about 10, 15 minutes. Then I'll intersperse it with all the rest of the news and the clips and the insanity, and there's quite a bit of it. But if you just joined us, I went to a legal meeting yesterday at about 5, and I was in a little bit north of here, about 10 miles away, and I was already supposed to be back about 6:30, but I was late, and I called Rob Dew that was still here, great camera guy, fast editor, I was shoot a report, and I was sending back and forth with General Flynn and with the producers, dealing with how Putin would probably respond. And we were looking at Russia running nuclear attack simulations on national TV, and I said, yeah, that's a deterrent, unlike what the West is doing, an accelerant, an escalation. And I came to the conclusion he would test a nuclear weapon delivery system without the nukes. And like I said, I hit traffic. It's really bad. My youngest daughter was calling saying, when are you home? When are you home? I want to play. She's 7, but she's good. And I just called Dew and I said, go home to your family. We won't get done until 9 o'clock tonight. And if I get up there. So I went home. And then before the show, I'm researching. And I said, yeah, I'm going to write the show headline explaining. We'll put the headline that I put out, one headline about Trump and Musk behind the scenes trying to broker a peace deal. That's pretty much already in the news. That's a big deal. I'll talk about that in detail in a moment. That's really big. But I also put out the headline on AJN Live on X, put it up there for the live show feed, that this was a intercontinental ballistic nuclear delivery system test to show NATO that they can't stop a nuclear attack if that comes, and that Russia does have modernized systems to counter all the talk that Russia's bluffing. Putin is, I am not bluffing. And so that's a big deal. Global exclusive, Russia's successful ICBM attack on Ukrainian weapons factory was a clear demonstration that Putin's nuclear force delivery systems can defeat anti-missile defense systems. That was published at exactly 11 a.m. Central, pre-programmed into the X system. Now, I went on at 11 a.m. and 2 minutes in said, Trump and Elon are behind the scenes trying to broker a deal. I've confirmed that. That's good news. Trump's not just silent on this for no reason. I explained what was going to break down there. If they're successful, it'll be a peace deal and a ceasefire until Trump is sworn in 59 days. There'll be a major peace summit and it promises of economic support to Ukraine to rebuild and promises to Russia of no more NATO expansion or weapon systems on their border. And then I was going to get into the fact that obviously the deep state during that ceasefire, if that does happen, will try to stage some provocations to get the shooting going again. That's a no-brainer. And then, of course, just to illustrate that the media is like, why do you fire a ballistic missile? What's that mean? Why do you blow up this weapons factory, this munitions complex? And I searched it right before I went live. No one was reporting this was a nuclear weapon delivery platform test with conventional munitions. And then 10 minutes into the show, Putin went live and did a 7-minute national address. And we've got it queued up to the point we'll play in a moment, where he explained this was a test to show people that their hypersonic missiles could evade the NATO systems. And again, I'm not harping on this to say, oh, wow, look, you know, how I nailed this. I'm trying to explain to people that when you see Lloyd Austin and the rest of the neocon lunatics, like John Bolton, all over television, saying Russia's bluffing. Just type in Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, Russia bluffing. Former National Security advisor Bolton, Putin bluffing. None of that's true.
Ridiculous.
Russia said there was these red lines, stop expanding for 20 years. And then once they got in a hot war, in the proxy war in Ukraine, they took Crimea, 6-7 years ago? And then said, if you don't stop it, we'll take another third of the country and we'll destroy the Ukrainian NATO forces, and we don't want that. So stop and do not move ATACMS or Storm Shadows up to our border, or we will consider that an act of war, because you can nuclear tip those, you can load those with nukes, and we know you're thinking about shooting them at us, and how do we know there's not nukes on them? So if we see a bunch of them coming, we're going to go to nuclear war, because we don't know if that's a decapitation attack. Because if they don't shoot those down or go to full war, then their nuclear forces won't get off the ground, and they've been caught with their pants down. This is nuclear doctrine, folks. All right? You think the United States would let Russia overthrow, say, Mexico or Canada and then station troops on our border and aim missiles at us? Would they accept firing the missiles into the United States? We're in their backyard. The globalists started this. It's not Russia running around the world invading 20-something countries in the last couple decades. It's our criminal government. It's not Russia cutting off the Keystone Pipeline and oil drilling licenses. It's not the Russian government shutting down huge amounts of the farms in England, in the Netherlands, in Germany, in France, in Ireland, in Sri Lanka, and saying it's the Great Reset. We're getting rid of farming because, quote, particularly, quote, John Kerry, the London Guardian, I'm not joking, this is not a joke, organic farming is the worst. John Kerry, farming is the third largest source of greenhouse gases that are part of the planet's atmosphere and are good, part of the life cycle. He didn't say that part. And we need to get rid of half the farming on Earth. You want to see the videos from this year and last year? And now they've cut off over a third of the fertilizer being produced in Europe. Europe, counting Ukraine, is the largest producer of fertilizer in the world. and you cut a third of it, last time I checked, I think it's more now. What happens when you cut the fertilizer? That cuts the food yield. And so, London Guardian headline, organic farming is the worst for the environment. I mean, that's like saying taking cyanide is good for your health. So, yeah, there's Kerry saying we got to restrict the farms. We got to cut the food. And he goes on to say, or people will starve. So what they do is they pump out propaganda that's meant to be pure crap, but with authority to just get people conditioned to accept anything, like 2 men can have a baby, or there's no X and Y chromosomes, or we're going to let men be in women's sports, including boxing, and beat women up. Yeah, there's the MIT. Sorry, organic farming is actually worse for climate change. So, and the headlines everywhere. London Guardian, AP, Reuters, New York Times. There's also in all those publications, humans are bad. We should get rid of all humans. The future is not human. Looking forward to the end of humans. Why the future doesn't need us. Why we don't need a human future. Just type in everything I said. You'll pull it up from them. Do those sound like good guys to you? How more organic farming could be worse for global warming. PBS, the NewsHour. So did Vladimir Putin do that? No, he announced 8 years ago that Russia's main initiative when he cut defense spending by 40% was to put the money into organic farming and for Russia to be the leader in organic farming and good food in the world. Make the world healthy again. That would not be MAHA. What would make the world healthy again? What would that acronym be? Organic food could be worse for the environment. More land in use to grow crops, which emits up to 70% more carbon.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
Carbon emission.
You know, you're a carbon-based life form.
Oh, God. They're coming.
You know, you're the carbon the globalists want to reduce, right? You know that. Bill Gates has said that. So, and Elon Musk says, look, I think we should have more kids. Here's the actuaries. We don't have 2.1 kids for every 2 adults, for every family, for every marriage, for every men and women that get together and procreate, reproduce. In all the numbers, it's a fact, you have a civilizational collapse. Well, Italy's at 1.3, Japan's at 1.2, I could go on. The U.S. indigenous population, whether they be black, white, Hispanic, American citizens born here, is about 1.7. So then you're told we need replacement migration with a bunch of brainwashed third world populations.
Find this nerd.
So that's where we are. And Russia's not doing any of that. Is Russia funding drag queen story time with convicted pedophiles with your children? Is Russia opening the border up and doing giant human trafficking for slave labor and sex slavery? Oh, no, not Russia. Did Russia get all our troops killed in all these funny wars? No. Maybe Russia attacked us in World War II? No. The West attacked Russia. British intelligence, on record, put the Bolsheviks in 1917. And then our own establishment, it wasn't the Rosenbergs, our own government gave them the atomic secrets. Because Russia was a captured, globalist, leftist, Jacobin, satanic command base. And now Russia's gotten free of that. And the globalists are so incredibly angry about it. So we have a kinship with the Russians because they have the same enemies as us. And that's why the New World Order is making its move. They're your enemy. They're Russia's enemy. China. 1949, CIA puts Mao Zedong in. Lets him murder 80 plus million of his own people. Then when they're finally ready, 1974, they make the deal. By the 90s, half our industry's been shipped over there. Then China, 11 years ago, double crosses the New World Order, the Trilateral Commission, the CFR, and says, we're the global dominant system. We're taking over with the transhumanism and all the crap. They end the one-child policy. Now they have a 3-child, they want you to have policy. Now they've broken with the globalists. They're still absolutely evil at the top. They said, oh, nice plan. We'll take it. Just like Hitler and Stalin, allies in the first 2 years of World War II, then they turn against each other. So you got the globalists over Europe, the United States, and the Western world. You got the Russians just trying to run their own deal. You got the Chi-Coms running the globalist operation, but double-crossing the globalist. And you've got a big, giant mess. So it's pretty big news that according to my sources, Trump and Elon Musk aren't just talking to Zelensky telling him he needs a ceasefire until Trump gets in 59 days. It is also happening with Putin, because I made some phone calls. So Trump is not silent on this in the last 3 days since the United States started bombing with precision nuclear-capable missiles. Not nukes on them, but they can be put in there quickly. And Putin comes out signaling this yesterday. And here's the headline. Putin reportedly opened a ceasefire talks with Trump, but demands Ukraine drop NATO bid, gives up land. Well, that's always been the plan. He said 2.5 years ago, or almost 3 when he invaded, he said, we're going to take 1/3 of the country. We're going to build a demilitarized zone. And we're going to destroy the Ukrainian NATO-backed military so they can't threaten us again. So we choose to fight NATO here. And NATO's been behind the whole thing. The globalists have been behind the whole thing, and they just keep doubling down on the escalation ladder. Oh, can't send F-16s. In fact, we never played the clip here, so find that. Where Biden, I think we did, where Biden says that's World War III. That's 2 years ago. Well, boy, if Abrams tanks are World War III on the threat escalation ladder, if that takes you there, what do ATACMS and Storm Shadow missiles do? And you've got Schultz, the German chancellor, saying, we're not going to fire missiles at Russia, but we are ready for total war with 800,000-man army ready to go. And he's on TV saying, prepare for World War III. Putin opens the door to Donald Trump's peace deal, but Ukraine must make huge concessions. Will Zelensky accept the plan? Well, the U.S. cuts the money off in 59 days, they will. Putin's offer to talk to Trump is unlikely to end fighting soon. Vladimir Putin set to make bombshell U-turn on ceasefire with Donald Trump peace deal. So, if Trump is successful getting Putin to propose it, you'll hear about it in the next, hopefully, next few days. When that happens, if that happens, the corporate media is going to go absolutely ape and say, what is a president-elect doing talking to a foreign leader? That's legal, lawful, it always happens. Usually with somebody, they start doing a tour around the world to meet all the world leaders and get ready beforehand. That's standard procedure. But just like in 2016, oh no, I mean, they'd be like, oh my God, will Trump at the G20 or G8, or at the Southern, will he shake Putin's hand? Oh my God, there he is with Putin. He's talking to him at the Davos group. Oh my God, this is illegal. He's a Russian spy. Remember all that? So yeah, Trump is talking to Putin. Musk is talking to Putin. Because they know the deep state that's now out in the open is trying to launch a huge escalation of the war to keep Trump out of office during a full war or to hand him a total disaster. And now Putin's fired a nuclear-capable supersonic ballistic missile that came back in at Mach 10, Mach 15, and couldn't be shot down by NATO to say, hey, we can get past your defenses, and that could have had nukes on it. Because the Pentagon, the Secretary of Defense, is saying they're bluffing and their weapons aren't any good. When that's a lie. Now, how deep the weapons are, how many they've got, that's up for debate. But if the Russians are outproducing artillery shells 3-1 of the entire West, what do you think? So, a full 10 minutes before Vladimir Putin went public in a national televised international address at 11:10 Central, we broke why he did it, why they said it, and I think I even said I would imagine an announcement the next day. I did say that from Putin explaining this is a demonstration of their capability. I had no idea that 10 minutes later he'd be saying it. Kind of like I didn't know on election night, 2+ hours beforehand, I said Trump will take the stage at Mar-a-Lago at 1:27 and will speak before the minute ends. I just knew again. And I decided to just show you what I got.
Well, there you go. Ours vote will ultimately kill us all. Ours fucking vote. What if it ended the world? What if the nukes went off and we all died? It was because of faggots like Paul are voting for Biden. Could you imagine? Just fucking imagine. Oh, God.
So Ukraine reportedly uses the long-range missile for the first time to blow up Russian weapon facility as Putin issues nuclear warning to America. And Rob, if you have the clip, is this the clip of Ukraine attacking Russia?
This is Russia using the ICBM last night into Ukraine.
They're saying it looks like, and mind you, I worked at Malmstrom Air Force Base, Montana, ICBM missile site. This is what it would look like at night. They're saying that he's doing it to show a force with no warhead on it, but just they're saying that this might be him showing like you
firing off, but there is no warhead.
There's no warhead on it. Oh yeah, you would know, dude. That noise.
No warhead in it. If there was a warhead, it's a different story.
The camera's gone. This guy's gone. They're all gone.
This is last night.
Oh, that's fear. You hear the fear? It's. I'm telling people.
Rob, where is this? It's still causing damage, but
it's
not
causing
the damage of a nuclear bomb, obviously.
Pat, if it was a nuclear warhead, that first wave, this guy would have felt the impact that he's done. Yeah. That's scary.
So that's this taking place, and then you have Putin that comes out.
That's wild, man.
Putin comes out.
Sounds like an airplane, doesn't it? Sounds like an airplane.
These are the ones at nighttime, Rob.
I saw this one.
Yeah.
You don't play this clip, Rob?
Sounds like Boeing testing 737s.
Yeah. See,
there's three of them. I saw the.
This is what I was talking about it looking like it's a ICBM.
This is where this is in Ukraine.
This is just fast. This is the fast. The fast forward part of it, but that's what they would look like, guys. That's when that type of stuff is happening. It's like,
so while this is going on, you hear Putin allows nuke response to U.S. missile as he signs off on World War III escalation. What does that mean? He signs off on World War III escalation. Let me read it to you. So Putin updated Russia's nuclear doctrine to permit nuclear retaliation against the West if Ukraine fires long-range missiles into Russian territory and move into Kremlin's Dmitry Peskov's confirmed as target aggression with the use of conventional weapons following the U.S. approval for Ukraine to use these weapons 190 miles. Peskov warranted this policy reserves the right to use nuclear weapons and marks a significant escalation in the conflict. Vinny, what else do you know about the story?
Well, Pat, here's the thing. Look at it. Let's not forget about the timing. How many more days does Joe Biden have, Tom? How many?
20 in January, 31 in December, and about 8 right now.
Okay, and it was his birthday yesterday. He's 82 years old.
60 days.
60 days left. Okay, and let's just be honest. First, he is not making any decisions. Every headline that we see about Biden did this, Biden did that, let's all agree it's not Joe Biden. Okay, and let's remember the Biden administration started this war. They knew Russia would invade when we were publicly pushed Zelensky to join NATO. Let's all be completely honest. That's what they all want. The left and a lot of these Republicans on the right. And let's not forget on January 9th, Biden addressed, that address that he did, Tom, where he said, if Russia, Russia will be held accountable if it invades. And it depends on what it does. If it's one thing, if it's a minor incursion, we won't really do anything. This is Joe Biden inviting Russia to invade Ukraine, okay? And then he basically attacked them and like openly talking about expanding NATO. Because I wanted to ask you guys, if right now, I'm just going to pick somewhere, China wanted to build set up shop in Mexico, what would we do, Pat? I'm just asking you guys. What would we do if they came and they're like, hey, listen, we're going to go to Mexico. We're going to put up a couple of missiles.
I mean, like Cuban Missile Crisis.
That's what
Kennedy said, get your crap out of Cuba. It's too close to me.
Yeah, and what almost happened?
Well, yeah, we almost launched missiles, went to war, but they blinked and they pulled the missiles out of Cuba.
Yeah, and here's the problem. We're not even able to hear what Russia is saying because remember, the EU banned the platforming of Russian media, RT News and Sputnik. We can't even see what they're saying. They pulled out all the way that we could communicate or even talk to these people.
This guy sent me a Minect.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's leaning towards a Ukraine argument, Tom. And here's what he told me. Okay.
Okay.
And Tom, I'm going to go to the U.S. Embassy closing in Kiev, and I want to get your thoughts on that as well here in a minute. But I want you to see what this guy said. Reasonable guy. I would like to offer a different perspective on the situation in Ukraine. After the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991, Ukraine inherited a large portion of its nuclear arsenal, making it the third largest nuclear power at the time. Think about it. That's 33 years ago. Ukraine was number 3. 33 years ago, Ukraine's number 3 in the world.
In terms of total bombs.
In terms of total bomb, that's a freaking lot of power, right? Of course. Yes. So most people forget that in 94, Ukraine agrees to dismantle its nuclear arsenal in exchange for security assurances from Russia, the U.S., and the UK, formalized in the Budapest Memorandum. The process was strongly encouraged by the U.S. under President Bill Clinton. Imagine agreeing with a neighbor to give up your guns on the promise they'll protect you if danger arises. Later, their friends start shooting at you, and you're only given tools to protect your yard, not yourself. Now Russia strikes Ukraine weekly with hundreds of drones and rockets, targeting civilians in all cities, causing massive casualties. If this were a business deal, how important do you think the ethical aspects of such an agreement would be, and how would you handle this situation? Tom?
Wow. Well, it was Russia, the U.S., and UK, I think, that were at the end of World War II, that were sitting there talking about Germany. Remember that? There's the 3 of them sitting there. And then later, Russia broke ranks and Germany, the Berlin Wall and everything with it. So there is something to be said here is that there was a treaty that was put in place. And then there's a couple things that happened. One, suddenly the U.S. and U.S. proxies in NATO were trying to get the Ukraine to join. And then Russia, who's in the treaty, goes, whoa, wait a minute. We have this treaty here. I told you I didn't want Ukraine in NATO. Russia has never wavered on not wanting Ukraine to be part of NATO. I thought we had a treaty here. So Russia feels that the West instigated NATO and pissed it off. The West is saying, dude, after the Soviet Union, you're just trying to rebuild everything back together. You're trying to put Humpty Dumpty together again. And you want Crimea specifically. You want the access to the Black Sea and all this. And so in terms of a business deal, it's like, people on both sides messed with it, but then Russia went and got active on a military basis. They started not just lawsuits. They went after it.
What's your position on what he said? This message that he sent me,
Pat. This is where I'm coming from.
I think it's.
I know. I think
stay on this point. Stay on this point. What he's saying. So what he's saying is this is important because to some of the Ukraine. The other day I'm in a car in Orlando yesterday. We're driving. The driver's Russian. And I'm trying to kind of get a feel. I said, hey, do you work for the guys here? So I said, I can't really openly talk to my employees about what we're thinking about doing with the event here He says, "No, I totally understand." I said, "So where are you from, Russia? When did you leave 25 years ago? How's the situation? My brother's still living there. What happened when you came here? My husband and I are here. Our family's here. When's the last time you went to Russia? I haven't gone for 25 years. How do you feel about Putin?" He says, "I love Putin 2 years ago. Everybody hates Putin right now in Russia. Why is that? Everyone's afraid of him. Why do they afraid of him? Because he's become a dictator." So I'm thinking this girl is going to be a pro-Ukraine liberal type of person. I said, "So how do you feel about Trump?" She says, "Well, I know I can talk to you. We love him." I said, "Who loves him?" He says, "Everybody in Russia loves Trump." I said, "Well, so let me get this straight. Russians right now are upset with Putin, but they love Trump?" "Yes." "Why?" He says, "Imagine if your kids died for a war that you don't want to be a part of, and there's a guy that can come and stop the war." So the position he's taken, she was a pro-Trump, anti-Putin because they just want people to stop dying.
Yeah, they want
What
peace.
an interesting perspective. This is a reasonable person we're talking to, right? But this guy is saying, "Hey, man, what the hell? We made a deal in 1991, 33 years ago. We gave you everything. We were number 3 in the world. We could have been a force to be reckoned with. And now you're attacking us? What's that all about?" What do you say to that guy?
Who's he saying that's attacking him?
He's saying now we're defending, we're okay with Russia attacking Ukraine, and you're allowing that war happen. Why is Russia attacking Ukraine? Their job was to defend us because we gave all our nuclear weapons. I have an argument. I want to know what you think about it.
I honestly, it hits me.
Okay. Vinny, Adam, what would you say to that?
So you don't need to play the video. It'll be important to show these images. I was just in Washington, D.C. It was the 1,000th day anniversary, so to speak, of the Ukraine-Russian war. And I said, listen, I have this opportunity to speak with Ukrainian soldiers in front of the White House. Let me seize the moment here, right? So I speak with this guy. I don't know if you have the other video as well. Interviewing actual soldiers. One of the guys had his limbs blown off. He's in a wheelchair, but there's American flags, there's Ukrainian flags. I'm like, hey guys, I just want to ask you guys some questions, see what you got going on here. Here's my biggest takeaways from this. I believe that Donald Trump has the ability to win a Nobel Peace Prize if he can end this war. And he said on record he believes that he can stop the war and possibly before he even takes office, right? He said that. By the way, do you know Barack Obama won a Nobel Peace Prize? Do you know how soon into his presidency he won a Nobel Peace Prize?
2 months?
I think it was 270 days. I think it was like immediately after he took office.
Somehow Tom knows this ridiculous number. It was 9 months into him taking office.
Yeah.
9 months.
Yeah.
And he won it on the inspiration of hope, not because he did anything per se, because he was inspiring hope. So it was
and a
on
big speech at the Berlin Wall.
There it was. So some of his accomplishments were he was strengthening international diplomacy. Some may say he was doing an apology tour for America, right? He was encouraging nuclear disarmaments, even though it didn't necessarily begin at that point. And he was, again, renewing the climate of hope. So he came in with this hope and change, but nothing necessarily is manufactured. But it's now officially the 1,000th day. I think we're in
What are you saying
1001.
to this guy? We were on this topic.
So here's
What's
my
your
point.
with this guy?
After interviewing this guy,
Yeah.
I said, "What do you think should happen in the war?" And he was the spokesperson. He goes, "Putin is Hitler." This whole talking
here we
point. I'm like, "Putin is Hitler? That's what you're giving me?" And I said, a lot of people in America have heard this about Trump. Trump's Hitler, Trump's Hitler. The whole Hitler thing, it's being watered down and it's basically being marginalized. Hitler killed 6 million Jews.
Adam, what is
however
the
many-
point with this guy saying the fact that stay on this point? You just went 3 topics that we could have gone later.
I didn't really necessarily know what this guy's point is. I have a point though.
But no, it's your
Okay.
point on this point. I'll come back to
What would you like me to respond to exactly? This
You didn't
guy's-
hear anything I said?
I did.
read it twice.
I did.
Okay, so what do you have to say about what the guy says?
I think that I don't even know what this guy said. to be
Okay,
honest with
so
you.
then hang
Yeah.
tight. I'll come back to you on the
Yeah.
point you're making. I understand the point you're trying to make about nuclear, the nuclear, what do you call it? The Nobel
Disarmament,
Prize for
yes.
him to get because of what he could do. I agree.
Why is this guy's point so important?
The reason why, because there is a split where some people are like, well, are you okay with this happening, et cetera, et cetera. This happened at a different time that the negotiation took place, in 91. Putin's sitting there saying, that was your mistake. Why would you even do that in the first place? You should have never given it up. You gave it up for exchange. That was your bad negotiation. So if you had a leader that negotiated in a weak way for your country, you pay a price for that. You voted for that person. You guys chose to give that up. You didn't have to give it up, right? You didn't have to do that. And then at the same side, when some of the Ukrainians are like, well, what do you want them to do? Well, gradually, these guys have been getting closer and closer to NATO, so both ways promises are not being kept. if your promise was you're not going to go be part of NATO, and now you're pursuing it, and then they're going to be like, if you're not holding the end of the bargain of you not even getting close to NATO, you are getting close to NATO, you are getting close to all these guys. Anything we ever negotiated in the past is over with. Anything we negotiated in the past is over with. That's the point with what this guy is saying. He's saying that it's not fair what took place. One, you had a bad deal. Two, once you don't keep the end of your bargain, you're right. You lose all of it. However, while this is taking place, Tom, what kind of a sign is it when U.S. closes embassy in Kiev over potential significant air attacks as tensions with Russia? So, Rob, I think you have this clip here on what they're saying. If you want to play this clip, go for it.
In the last few minutes, the United States has announced it is closing its embassy in Kiev today and instructing employees there to shelter. That's after receiving what it describes as specific information of a potentially significant air attack. Well, overnight, Ukraine's military says Kiev's air defense units were deployed in defense of the city. Witnesses told the Reuters news agency that they heard multiple blasts.
Okay, so that's happening. Escalation's happening. World War III. He's dropping bombs to tell you, if I had a warhead in there, I would destroy you. All of this is going on simultaneously. Trump, I believe he said somewhere that I may have to go to Russia now to stop it. By the way, if he goes and stops this war, Ukraine-Russia, if he goes and stops everything that's going on with Israel, and if he does, the idea that he deserves a Nobel Prize would be a what? An understatement. You make a very good point if he does that. I mean, that is arguably, who would disagree? By the way, Tom, what is the process of Nobel Prize? If he's able to do that, who nominates? Because most of the Nobel winners are on the left.
Yeah, exactly. The Nobel Prizes, you can go look this up, are given through an arcane nomination process, and they go into a back room and they decide who they're going to give it to. And the Nobel Peace Prize is basically a political football. You know, you look around the world at people that have really caused peace, and you have Obama made a couple speeches as soon as he was inaugurated in 2009. Oh my goodness, we give it for fostering an environment of peace. He didn't do anything. Remember, Jimmy Carter actually got, Menachem Begin and Anwar Sadat, correct? Yeah, to come to Camp David for a week and to hash it out. So for all the things that Jimmy Carter did to the economy, there is somebody actually doing something. Now it's a backroom deal. It's like, it doesn't have a lot of credibility with the mainstream populace because they look at it and said, no, this is a liberal think tank that just hands them out. Now, the medicine ones and the mathematical ones are a little more quantitative, like, did you really do something? But the Nobel Peace Prize is like, you today I look at it and it's, you get to be king of the liberal think tank. That's what it meant. Is that you were in line with the liberal think tank, you said some nice things, did some things, here's your Peace Prize.
And going back to what you asked, when you're closing an embassy, that means it's about to go down, Pat. That means it's about to happen. And the fact that I was on the show the other day, they're like, oh, Putin's already threatened nuclear war before. It's at a point right now, especially with this administration, that just wants a war. I don't know why a lot of people out there aren't getting it. They're like, no, he's done this before. I don't care about the threats. You don't play around with somebody that's talking about this type of escalation this fast. And we know Anthony Blinken is in front of the camera going, hey, we got to hurry up and send $8 billion of our dollars to them before January 20th. They're trying to rush this thing. They want a war with this guy. And I don't think, Pat,
all available appropriations left in 2024. We need to use them.
Yeah. Do you think you think Putin is kind of just jokingly threatening nukes?
Well, let me tell you, Macron called him and said, hey, don't do anything, man. Hang tight. And I'm telling you right now, Trump is the only guy that he's willing to negotiate with because he believes Trump's going to keep the deal. By the way, Brandon just sent me this here, going back to telling you a little bit about a history. In 1990, Gorbachev accepted Germany's reunification and its continued membership in NATO under the explicit condition that NATO would not expand past Germany.
Okay.
Past Germany. U.S. Secretary of State James Baker, read a book on this guy's phenomenal, interesting guy, hated by some, loved by some, but definitely respected. German Chancellor Helmut Kohl, Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher made verbal assurances to Soviet leader Gorbachev that in February 1990, Baker famously told him that NATO would move not 1 inch eastward beyond Germany. And what happened? They moved. What do you think he's going to do? You didn't keep the end of the deal.
That's exactly